right, kids. Let's make something happen on a Tuesday. How about that? Some of y'all refer to it as Cinco de Mayo, where you go out and you eat delicious Italian food. Maybe some pasta or bread. Isn't that what happens?
Yeah, we were talking about in the last hour that this is a great day to go to any Mexican or Hispanic food establishment because you're probably not going to have to wait. As opposed to, if you go to a taco place or whatever, well, the line's probably going to be out the door and you might have to wait 45 minutes or something like that. So to each their own. It's kind of like the people that do the opposite thing on Thanksgiving, or like instead of eating turkey or whatever, they eat something completely opposite. Just to be different.
That's actually, I saw that, maybe we were all reading the same thing. I saw something on Twitter, and it was like on Cinco de Mayo, you should eat Italian. On Memorial Day, you should eat tacos. On Independence Day, you should eat fish and chips.
Okay.
It was going through all of that, and anyway, so I joke, but no, I will say a good margarita, and I haven't had a margarita. I don't know the last time I had a margarita. It was last year, but before August, I know that. But a good margarita can really brighten your day. Yeah,
honestly. I may have had a sip of one or two, but I don't think I've actually drank one myself since college.
Maybe. Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not really my go-to type of thing.
No, it's not a go-to. You got to be in the mood. It's got to almost be the right weather.
I think Peyton's got some. I've taken a sip or something like that, but I've never had my own dedicated one in quite a while.
They're on opposite ends of the spectrum, but a Bloody Mary to me is the opposite of a margarita. To me, a Bloody Mary is this is me. So if y'all are disagreed, take it easy on me. Just tell me I'm wrong. But a Bloody Mary is the winter drink. For me, Bloody Mary season really starts about mid-November.
Okay.
For a kind of a tailgate morning drink, and then picks up Thanksgiving weekend, and really roll about right before Thanksgiving, and then really rolls through to about the end of January, February, and then to me, a margarita again is kind of it's May. It's margarita season through about August to maybe.
It's a summery type of drink, and I feel like if you're gonna if your first one of the years on Cinco de Mayo, that kind of opens you up to, okay, now it's summertime and, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So anyway, well, we won't spend the whole show talking about that. There are other things in sports to get to, a lot of interesting kind of storylines that are now starting to kind of circulate the sporting world, and we'll get to a lot of that throughout the day here. We'll talk a little bit about compare and contrast, if you will, South Carolina's transfer class last year, a lot of the guys, especially now that we just saw everybody transfer out, and where guys like Elijah Strong have gone, where guys like Chris Sandico have gone, and as well as players that were on the team, Jordan Butler and Cam Scott. You think about some of the guys that came in as freshmen, E.J. Walker and Eli Ellis, Abu Yarman. So 7 guys right there. We'll discuss that, and we'll look at where guys came from this year to fill out this portal class because, again, as we've kind of talked about it, this is a huge year. It's a huge year for all the South Carolina coaches. The first one has already failed and been fired or let go of his duties, Paul Maneri. Shane Beamer, you're up next. We expect big things from you, and then when we roll into the start of 2026, 2027, or I say the end of 2026 with basketball season, but then into 2027, Lamont Paris, you're on the clock. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. Maybe some of y'all can go back in the mind on your Rolodex. I don't know if I've ever seen it like this where all 3 of the men's coaches are basically sitting squarely on the hot seat. Now, the first one is struck out and gone home.
Yeah, because Mondelez wouldn't qualify for that. He's just kind of holding the position for the time being, and they're going to go hire somebody else. But, and again, this kind of goes back to the conversation we've had a lot of, Carolina men's sports being in one of the worst positions around the country, where I don't know of anybody else that's looking squarely at their 3 men's programs, saying all those guys have either been fired or on the hot seat.
Yeah. So we'll get into that as it pertains to basketball coming up in a little while. Coming up in the next segment, we'll get into baseball. We'll talk about the coaching search. I thoroughly did enjoy our conversation with Jamie Bradford yesterday and hearing his side of it for Monty Lee. Obviously, He's got a close relationship with Monty and would love to see Monty stay on. And I think there's a lot of people, Tyler, that would wish Monty maybe had done a little bit better, the team had done a little bit better, and that we could move him higher up the list of candidates. Do I think he should get an interview? Yes. Do I think he should be within the top 3 or 4? Again, this all comes down to who else is on the list that is actually open to coming to the University of South Carolina and what South Carolina is willing to pay.
Yeah, I don't think Monty Lee is one of the top candidates for this job, but I do think, just if nothing else, as a thank you for what he did to bridge the gap between the end of the Maneri era and whoever's going to be hired here coming up in a month. You thank him for that. And again, we saw a shift in energy from the team. They obviously love Monty. They wanted to play for him. So you thank him for doing that by at least giving them a chance to interview. Though, again, I don't think any of us look at him as a true, serious contender to get the job.
I always wonder about those interviews, Tyler, like if you're interviewing, I don't want to say big-time coaches or whatever, when you're talking to them, I mean, I'm assuming if you call up Kevin Schnall and he's like, yeah, I'll take the job. You don't do an interview process, right? You're like, all right, I've seen your interview.
Yeah.
It was last year when you were in the championship game in Omaha. You're hired.
Some people's resume precedes them, right? Where you don't have to sit down and really go over with a fine-tooth comb. Okay, what'd you do here? What'd you do there? Like, you can see proof of concept with what Schnall's doing. Now there are conversations to be had of, okay, if you're going to come here, what do you need resource-wise and all that kind of stuff? There can certainly be other conversations. But yes, if Kevin Schnall right now called Jeremiah and I and said, hey, I want to take your job, no questions asked. Congratulations, you have the job.
You say that.
Or almost no questions asked.
You were young because this was now 21, 22 years ago, I guess. I don't know if you remember or if you ever heard the story of the hullabaloo that was taking place at the end of 2004. So 22 years ago, roughly, at the end of 2004, when you had Florida basically tell Steve Spurrier, you got to interview for the job. And, of course, their intention was to hire Urban Meyer. They wanted the young up-and-comer, not the old retread that they had just lost a couple years ago.
Sure.
And that, a lot of people will contend that that's still open. Now, whether Spurrier would have gone back to try to relive some past glories and get back to where he was, to be decided, to be debated, I guess. It won't be decided now, but to be debated. But Spurrier came out publicly and was like, no. What did he say? I think some of y'all remember the exact quote, but he basically told, I can't remember who the AD was, maybe Jeremy Foley, I can't remember, basically told the AD at Florida, like, oh, you want my resume? You want to interview? Go over to that trophy case and look at the trophy case and see all the championships and see the name that was the head coach then.
Because Foley wasn't there when he was there back in the 90s, right? Or was the same guy?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up in terms of how that whole situation is played out.
Especially if it's the same person that was there when you were there, there shouldn't be any, process to that, right?
Well, again, I'll go back because we all remember. I remember it very well in terms of we're getting Spurrier. Spurrier's going to come, and then they're like, oh, well, Florida's opening up. But I remember a lot of articles being written at that time that basically Florida was like, yeah, you're nice, but Urban Meyer's hotter, and newer, and shinier,
and hey, guess what? They made the right choice. It worked out for them.
Yeah. So were they using that as their excuse to end up hiring Urban Meyer? Probably so. It worked out for South Carolina. It worked out for Florida in the very end. And so, that was a shocker back then. But yeah, I do wonder when we talk about the interview process, like, no offense to Monty Lee, but Monty Lee goes in there. What does he say that hasn't already been shown? Like, hey, I'm going to change this up. We're going to do this different. Like, you've had interaction with Jeremiah Donati, if you've wanted it,
sure,
all season long.
Monty's argument would be obviously his connections within the state, which is important. The ability he's had as a recruiter and all that kind of stuff, his ties to the program, like that would be kind of the ground he's standing on more than, hey, here's the regionals I made when I was at Clemson or Charleston or whatever it may be, because, that's not going to stack up compared to some of these other candidates that we think are going to be in the running for this job. So he would have to focus a little bit more on the connection aspect and certainly what he did for the program this year and kind of keeping things on track, albeit the season not going the way you wanted it to ultimately, as kind of his, things he's propping up on why he should get the job.
Again, the most interesting part of this will be There's an element of it because I know how coaching searches get, and we'll get into this in the next segment. What kind of leaks are occurring in the Jeremiah Donati athletic department over there? Mm-hmm. What can our two guys, John Whittle and Jack Veltri, be digging up to be putting up on the message boards? It's the inside scoop and what they have. We'll get to these coaching searches, and I don't want to pit one against the other, but I've been around these things. There's an element that the message board, the guys are. It's just as entertaining to see them as it is to actually see the coaching search play out.
No, there's nothing better than the rumor and speculation of a coaching search, right? And again, then we're suddenly seeing who's over at Halls. We're tracking flights. Like we're trying to, we put on our investigator hats and try, because we all want to have the answer first, right? Like, they hired so-and-so. I knew it before anybody else knew it. There's a satisfaction of knowing you were right first that I think we all seek out when things like coaching searches happen.
Yeah. I know back in the day, that was the upside when I went to work with ESPN that Paul Biancardi grabbed me to the side and said, hey, we're ESPN. It doesn't matter when you report it first, last, whatever. People are going to assume we reported it first, or they're waiting for us to confirm it. We're ESPN. And he said, so don't worry about being first. Make sure you got the story right and make sure you got quotes from both the coach and the AD. And until you have those, you can put out what you want, but know that it's on your shoulders. But when you have that, he said at that point, and that was a relief at that time. Boy, that made me feel a lot better.
Well, and guys like Whittle and Jack, obviously, they trust their sources, and if they put something out, there is validity to it. I was more talking about like the message board people, Twitter. They're going to run with anything depending on who they saw or who they heard about seeing somewhere in town or what flight's going where, and they piece it together from there. So there's a fan aspect of a coaching search that you can involve yourself in that can make it fun.
We'll talk about that and coaching searches. Are they fun for fans, or are they stressful? We'll get into that a little bit and talk more about this position that will be open really at South Carolina in about 3 weeks. You got Alabama this weekend here at Founders Park for the final SEC series of the week, or the season. Winthrop on Tuesday night will round out the home season portion for the Gamecocks, and then they'll head to Nashville next weekend to take on the Commodores. Remember, that'll be a Thursday through Saturday deal, and they'll wrap up the season. Then they'll head to the SEC tournament where I haven't really broke down the bracket because I don't really think they'll be hanging around that long, but I would assume they would play on Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday in the tournament to get things going, and then we'll see where they go from there. So we'll talk that a little bit as well. Also, a lot of things happening professionally across sports. One thing about and I don't think we're going to discuss it today because I didn't send it to you last night. If South Carolina was competitive and the tournament meant something, would we care about the ABS system being in Hoover?
I care about it in general.
Okay.
Yeah, more of like, hey, this is kind of the future probably happening. The effect it has on Carolina, not really.
Okay. All right. I mean, no, it has none this year. That's why I said, but if South Carolina was in a position to have to win a few, like literally, I mean, obviously they have to win all of them to get to the NCAA tournament. But I'll be honest, I'm sure outside of that locker room and the parents, I don't know how many Gamecock fans that have no relation whatsoever in terms of blood relationship to the team are like, yeah, let's keep this baby going.
Yeah.
I think a lot more, if you polled them, they're like, would you rather go 0-2 in the NCAA tournament, or would you rather start the coaching search to work toward the future?
Yeah.
I could be wrong, folks. I very well could be wrong because it's a kind of a hot-button topic. But I do feel like more fans, 50% or better, would be like, yeah, let's just start the coaching search and move on with this program.
Probably.
I feel like that's how it would be. 803-404-6100. The other thing that I really want to get into today is coming up in later on in the show will be the MLB idea about adding expansion teams and then complete realignment of Major League Baseball. And we'll explain that a little bit. Completely, you'd have to wrap your mind around it. Things that we've known for over 100 years completely changing. We'll try and get to that as well today. You're listening to Tyler Head, Bill Gunner, Captain Dave Adair. Oh, by the way, we got to get to a story from Captain Dave, who he shared.
Yes, we do.
You heard that story? About the football playing?
No, I've not. I look forward to it.
Yeah, we got to get that one retread again. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.7
96.9 The Game in Charleston, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
South Carolina men's head basketball coach Lamont Paris is coming back next year, and Coach Paris has to fill out his roster, so the transfer portal will be vital to success in 2026-27.
All this isn't about just NIL. I think there are a lot of components to putting a team together. How do pieces fit together? What does a player play? The fashion and style of ball that you would like roles are important.
And the game will dig into every player. Even what they ate in elementary school. On your home of everything Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Make your dream pool a reality this summer with Aquarian Pools of Columbia. Specializing in residential and commercial pool construction, Aquarian Pools of Columbia offer complimentary design services that bring your vision to life. Whether you need a new backyard oasis or your old pool needs a renovation, their expert builders are ready to deliver just in time for summer. With 54 years in business, if you can dream it, they can build it. Visit them online at aquarianpools.com or call 803-732-3636 today.
If you have nagging arthritis pain that won't go away and nothing seems to help, you may need to consider joint replacement, and that can be a little unsettling. At Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery, we understand and can help put your mind at ease. Our experienced orthopedic surgeons and advanced technology enable our team to deliver consistently excellent joint replacement outcomes with no hospital stay and lower costs to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Do you have gold you don't need? Are you looking to get cash? At Traditions Fine Jewelers, it only takes a few minutes for them to check, but you'll be amazed at what cash it brings. Did you know if you had gold the size and weight of a quarter, you would generate $177 in 10 karat or $248 in 14 karat? Want to trade your gold? The same quarter gold would generate $303 in 10 karat or $425 in 14 karat. Traditions Fine Jewelers, Sunset Boulevard in Lexington, or at the Village at Sandhills. Always giving you more for your gold.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code TRACK, to borrow up to $10,000. Use code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
We'll get a poll question going. I haven't done one of those in a while. Is a coaching search stressful for the fan base because you're wondering about the future of the program? Or is it fun? What would you go with?
I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder on this one.
It is.
I go with fun because you can let your mind run wild a little bit, right? You can create your own scenarios of your perfect hire. And again, the process of tracking every minute detail. Okay, so-and-so was in town. This person had an interview. This person was seeing it, wherever. Again, flights being tracked, those kind of things. I don't think it's stressful unless you're making the hire, depending on that. Well, I think some fans make it more stressful than others. I think for most, it's fun. For me, it's fun personally.
Okay. I don't know. I'll put the poll question up here during the break. We'll make sure we
I
word it.
feel like they made the wrong hire. That's stressful.
Well, you don't look. As you said, here's why I think it becomes stressful. Because you hear a name, you become attached to it, and then when that name disappears or it comes off the list, now you're all stressed out like, man, we missed on my guy. Oh, that guy's a bum. The guy number 2, he's a bum.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with him. No, go back. And in this case, I can point back to 5 years ago and the whole, were you here 5 years ago for the whole Lamont Paris coaching search?
That was just before I got here. I was here for the Maneri hire.
So, and the Maneri hire was crazy because
that came out of nowhere.
Well, but I don't know what we really knew about the search.
Sure.
Like there was rumors flying left and right. Well, Cliff Godwin's turned him down. Well, Tom Walters has not been contacted. I forget the guy at Duke that was there. I think he went to Virginia this year, I think. But I can't remember. I really liked the guy at Virginia. I was like, man, I'd like to see them hire him. You had all these names floating around. Monty Lee was floating around heavily at that point. And so you're listening. But to go back to the basketball scenario, Sean Miller pops out, and you're kind of like, oh.
I've heard the stories.
They're going to make this work? They're South Carolina's going to – I think it was more surprised that a guy with Sean Miller's background, South Carolina, who usually plays by the rules, was like, yeah, well, come on over and run our program. And you all knew that Sean Miller – I mean, this guy blatantly cheated. He didn't get fired from Arizona because he was losing. Blatantly cheated out loud, got caught, denied it, got an assistant arrested, and finally went down. And is now back, much like Will Wade, at the top of the game coaching at a premier institution in Texas.
You know why? Because he wins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that was another thing. You're like, well, Sean Miller. And with Sean Miller, when you heard the name, you're like, you think he's learned his lesson? He's gonna cheat? No.
Well, it's one of those things like, as long as he doesn't get caught, as long as he can do it without getting us in trouble, go for it.
Yeah, he's a master at this. He's like Will Muschamp learned his lesson from hiring all those offense coordinators at Florida that didn't work out. Sean Miller's learned his lesson. No,
and I think that's the thing when a hire gets made at your school or your team or whatever it may be, whatever the negative aspect of what that person's done in their past, like, well, it's not going to happen here. Well, he learned his lesson. He changed.
Well, but here's the thing. You say that, but fans around here are like, I don't want him to change. I don't want clean Sean Miller. I want Sean Miller that's out there making...
It depends on what aspects. Again, you mentioned the thing about Will Muschamp going through offensive coordinators at Florida. In your mind, you're like, well, that won't happen here. He'll get it right here, learned his lesson, and we'll be fine. Well, obviously, that didn't end up happening, obviously. But it depends on what aspect of it. Because, again, like Sean Miller's thing, like, hey, if you're not getting caught, then do whatever you got to do to make us successful. And we can turn a blind eye to whatever it is.
It's interesting to think about because I've sat around, we joked earlier about the Steve Spurrier search, and I'll be honest, again, you say, well, no, Bill, it's fun and exciting, but you allow yourself to buy into it's going to be Steve Spurrier.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh, he's looking at Florida, LSU's open. LSU came open at that time too. North Carolina was open. And he was like, I think LSU was open. Maybe that was a year. Saban might have come in the next year after him.
Saban's first year
No,
at
Saban was at
Alabama
LSU. That was Alabama.
07. Because he spent 05 and 06 with the Dolphins.
Because there was a little bit of talk about Spurrier at Alabama. There was a little bit of talk about Spurrier at LSU. I don't remember when. So Saban left. All right, so LSU then became open. I thought LSU was open when Spurrier. Anyway, I thought maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my dates are confused on that. But anyway, with that being said, you allow yourself, in a case like Spurrier or a Sean Miller or any other big name. And by the way, this is a fan base who has seen it publicly happen, and according to lore, it twice in basketball has had premium coaches take the job only to turn it back down, one in public. And look, if you're 44 and you're older, you are very familiar with the Bobby Crimmins story and being shunned by Bobby Crimmins. I literally don't know if I've ever seen my father, and I told you we have ties, family ties back to the Frank McGuire years, ever so happy that we hired Bobby Crimmins. Like, pretty sure he doesn't get that. He never got that happy when I did anything in high school. And
you're not Bobby Crimmins.
Or now. But with that being said, then he turns around and leaves, and this fan base feels jilted. Then you ended up with Eddie Folger, which it all worked out. But that was bad. And then the rumors of Tubby Smith being willing to come here and resurrect the program, only for his wife to say, nah, we ain't going there. We're staying here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Right.
So, rumors be what they may. You get all excited about a guy, and then they end up not panning out. And in South Carolina baseball's coaching search thing, kind of like the Mark Kingston era, you're like, oh, we're going to get Kevin O'Sullivan? This will be great. We're going to keep rolling. Kings who? Mark? Mark Kings? Oh, this is no good. And it's kind of like Paul Maneri.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to get it fixed. Maneri? Really? Okay.
I will say there was excitement about that when it happened.
It was just such a shock and a surprise.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. And I'll never forget because you were out that week. So I was filling in for you with Preston on the morning show. And I think it was that Monday because I'd come done the show, went home, took a nap. And, when I went to sleep that day, there was a list of 3 or 4 names that we've been talking about as, hey, kind of the guys that are in the front of the pack here in terms of who's going to be hired. And when I woke up from that nap an hour and a half later, it was, hey, reports, Paul Maneri about to be hired by Carolina. And like, Paul Maneri, the same coach from LSU that retired 3 years ago, like, it did completely come out of nowhere. And his his resume got people excited. Now, obviously, we learned pretty quickly that didn't amount to much in this era of college baseball. But I remember at the time there was legitimate excitement because he had done the things that you hoped your new head coach had done in the past.
The way I recall it, and the way I recall everybody's reaction, everybody was so shocked about Paul Maneri that the initial reaction was like, really? But then as time went on, you could kind of look through everything and be like, all right.
And he won the press conference.
Right.
Like he said all the right things.
Yeah, but I think you could look, again, South Carolina fans, a little jaded on that because Darren Horn also really won the press conference way back in the day. And I think Brad Scott did too back in the 90s if I want to go way back. But with that being said, I think people initially were like, really, this guy? And then you start going, well, wait a minute, he's won a championship. He kind of coaches in the in the same vein that Ray Tanner does. He's not staying here long. He's talking about winning immediately.
Yeah.
That it's not a rebuild. Okay, all right, I see where we're going. I like this hire. And then roughly, 9 months later, we're like, what do we got to do to get him out of here again? And then obviously, it didn't last much longer through time. But we'll put a poll question out. All right, what do you think about the wording of this? Because everybody nitpicks, and I don't do the best with the wording of this. South Carolina baseball will hold a coaching search for a new head coach starting sometime around Memorial Day. As a fan, do you find a coaching search in any sport stressful or fun? How does that work?
I think that works. Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
I'll because you're not going to be here tomorrow. I'm gonna see what the numbers do overnight. I'm gonna bring this back up tomorrow morning because I'm interested to see how people feel about this.
Okay. All right. It's going up on my Twitter. I'll need to tag I'll give some of y'all a chance to text in and tell us where I'm wrong in my wording of this, 803-404-6100. You got about 5 minutes to do that, so pull over the car and send a text in. But I'll put this up, tag Tyler and Captain Dave. Go to my Twitter account, @Will, W-I-L, Gunter, G-U-N-T-E-R. We'll come back, and we'll get into a little bit of Lenora Sellers. It's the halftime show.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Since that win at Clemson by the Gamecocks, things haven't gone well. Let's spin back to the good old days on the Game Network.
He's been carried off this field before wearing different colors. Tonight, as a head coach of South Carolina, he wins the SEC East, and the Gamecocks are heading to Atlanta. Congratulations, Ms. Dee's career in South Carolina.
Now that's some good feels right there. From 107.5 The Game and the Game Network.
Bill Gunter for Mid-State Roofing. Oh, it's nice and shiny out there today. Weather's great. You don't have to worry about a storm rolling through and having a leak at your home or your business, but later in the week, and maybe even tomorrow, you might have to. Sounds like we might have some thunderstorms coming. So that brings up the question, is your roof ready? Have you thought about it? Again, whether your home or your business, have you thought about your roof lately and whether it can handle a severe thunderstorm around here and the rain that can pour in? If not, it's time for you to call Mid-State Roofing. Now, you don't actually have to call them right now. I'd prefer you did because it's noon and they're more equipped to handle it. But guess what? They are there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can call them after 5 p.m. up to midnight, 2 a.m. in the morning, 4 a.m. in the morning. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. 803-356-1919. They're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 803-356-1919.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
Rhino Shield is backed by an extraordinary 25-year warranty with special financing available.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
Call now, 833-RHINO-99 for your 15% off. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Massive insurance companies may want to keep you from getting what you deserve after a car wreck. Don't let them. I'm Michael Jeffcoat, and my team is right here in South Carolina to fight for you. For over 26 years, we've helped your neighbors recover millions. We know the law, the system, and what it takes to win around here. And remember, no recovery, no fee. That's my promise to you. Call 803-200-2000 for a free consultation. The Jeffcoat Firm. You deserve better, so call us.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because I have a job to do.
With rapid fire takes.
So I don't want to hear from you lava pigs on this notion today. No idea what you're talking about. You're complaining more than you like to breathe air. It's like you get up in the morning only to complain and cry and moan on social media about things that you don't even understand.
He's the Spitfire of sports smack.
Take advantage of it. Get up in here.
The Jim Rome Show podcast.
What's your beef?
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You've been warned.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
That is going to be the attitude next year of South Carolina baseball. We won't back down. No, we won't back down. You can spin us, is it up and down? All around. We won't back down.
You can stand me at the gates of hell.
Yeah, stand it.
But I'll stand my ground, won't back down.
I don't listen to enough Tom Petty.
Really?
I don't. I should listen to more.
You should.
That's good. A lot of high quality. He does. To me, I know he's not underrated, but I have him underrated. Like, there's a lot of great songs. Last Dance with Mary Jane is one that actually Austin got into recently and brought me back down the Tom Petty path. But I should know the words. That's
technically isn't that Florida Gators thing now?
Yeah, that's their fourth quarter.
I like it. I like it. That's their look. I would be all for us doing a Hootie song going into the fourth quarter. It's not like that one's got meaning to it by, we won't back down. You get the correlation there. And I'm not saying that Hold My Hand or all the Hootie songs. I don't know what your correlation is, what song you're playing. Wagon Wheel's more of a Darius one. But I got to admit, it's Hootie music. Normally it gets draws a reaction. They're fun. They're like, honestly, you can play a Hootie song going into the fourth quarter.
Sure.
And if you're down by 4 touchdowns, people are just going to relax to it, right? Like they're not. It's not
the Hawks swag surfing down 53 the other night.
And I think you'd get the crowd if you're winning and everybody's fired up. You'd have the whole stadium singing. We need to revisit this. You weren't here. And this was classic. And I don't even, somebody tell me when this occurred. This is, Dave, you got to help me out here. Let's see if you remember. Do you remember the ill-conceived Carolina Girls song that would be playing from the third to the fourth quarter? Do you remember that?
Song? No.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, it's Carolina Girls. I didn't mean to. That was the Carolina Girls, the Shag song. And I believe it was Eric Hyman. I'm 99% sure it was Eric Hyman who came up with this. And Tyler, they wanted to.
You mean Rockin' with the Gamecocks? Or was it?
Carolina Girls.
A lot of people like that one. Yeah. There was another song.
I mean, they've had a bunch of songs.
Well, they wanted to play.
They've had
the Carolina song, and it was called "Rockin' with the Gamecocks."
Yeah, they had the Sparky Rock way back in the day. Before, do y'all remember Sparky Rock? 803-404-6100.
Fire ants in my orange pants.
Don't remember that one.
Maybe you're listening to something else, Dave.
Oh, that was a big one.
Your wife listened to some music recently?
She did, yes, Dave. I was going to tell you that we were talking something about music yesterday, and she said, "What's that band that Dave loves so much?" I said, "Well, that's Larkin Poe. Dave's the biggest Larkin Poe fan in the world." And my wife's like, "I've never heard anything by them." So she went to Spotify, pulled up their number one song, and listened to it. She liked it, Dave. So you might have created a Larkin Poe fan.
That's my idea. Take over the world. Make everyone a Larkin Poe fan.
We're not quite there yet, are we, Bill?
You converted one. If you can't convert two, if you don't convert one. Kudos to you on that.
Listen, every journey starts with one step, right?
That's right.
Let's see. I don't even remember what song it was. Anyway, one of the more popular ones. She listened to it. She liked it. So
I'll send you the acoustic version of the one they just did. Big one.
I'm gonna get like flooded with all Larkin Poe things now.
I'll just send one.
Dave's just gonna be texting you. Like, you're going to have to be like Mid-State Roofing, just up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just taking text.
I have 7 albums. I won't.
I'll ask if she wants to become a Kinsider. How about that?
There you go. It's free right now.
Oh, even better.
Boy, June is going to be entertaining around here.
I think they have a 50% off on merch this week.
Larkin Poe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you need some Larkin Poe merch,
Just in
there
case
you go.
Didn't have enough, but all right. Yeah.
Do you have enough, Dave?
I mean, there's never enough.
Perfect answer.
I have 14 autograph pictures of them.
Good segue for our autograph segment. Let's go back to baseball for just a second there in the coaching search. Several of y'all weighing in on the actual sports topic. Beth from Lamar said, Gamecock coaching searches are always stressful. We make a lot of bad decisions. Cocky D weighs in. Stressful. If Ray Tanner is leading the search, I'm giving Donati the benefit of the doubt, and I'm currently excited for a fresh start.
That can also be an element to this one of it being more fun because you're seeing a coach, and I think he hired volleyball coach, beach volleyball coach, one of those already, but like the first major hire of the sports that the majority of people within this fan base, pay attention to. So there's the added element of, okay, how does he go about it? Who are his candidates? What the hire is going to end up being. So I think there's excitement from seeing how Donati goes through this process.
I do think there's an element of that makes it very exciting for me. And I mentioned that kind of jokingly and not jokingly to see what leaks come out. We're getting to the point now where it does become like a kind of like leak season where somebody starts talking somewhere. An agent has no problem using South Carolina to get his guy a raise, but that guy has not actually had any communication or is not on South Carolina's list. But that agent being wise and wily knows how to float the name out there like, oh, so-and-so is South Carolina's courting him. Go back to the university. You might want to ante up there, University X. Yeah. You're going to lose your guy to South Carolina.
By the way, if you start hearing about a bunch of coaches getting extensions at some of major programs, might be a little Carolina effect to that.
Very well could. Because in baseball, Carolina can actually go out and attract someone that would be a top-of-the-line baseball coach. But it will be a lot of fun to kind of see how this plays out. A couple more texters, because these are pretty good texts here coming in. Another text says, coaching searches should always be fun, but in South Carolina's case, they are always stressful.
And I think if you feel like you've been burned too many times by coaching searching, and this is going to differentiate depending on fans, how old you are as a fan and stuff like that. Because if you feel like you've been gypped more times than not, they're like, oh, here we go again. Candidate A is going to end up, not turning it down. We're going to get down to candidate Z or something like that and have to settle for somebody because that's the way people feel about how some of the past searches have gone. So I can understand the stress from that side of it.
I'm interested. One more text coming in. Fun, unless we were picking from the bottom of the barrel because multiple blue bloods are handpicking the top talent. I would agree with you on football and basketball on that, and that's probably how those, if South Carolina was to move on from Shane Beamer, South Carolina is going to be a second-tier program and won't have the pick of the blue blood coaches out there. You're not going to go grab a highly thought-of sitting head coach like they could in baseball. Money talks. I don't think South Carolina could go out and, let's say, get a Jay Johnson, although not sure the way his season's going at LSU, even though they did sweep South Carolina, that's the guy you want. But my point is South Carolina really in baseball is not – it's not out of the realm of possibility. There's only about 7 or 8 schools that can go toe-to-toe if South Carolina wants to get heavy a little with it and go in there and say we're taking your coach. Yeah. That's kind of the way it is. South Carolina will have the pick of the blue bloods because it has been shown here that you can be ultra successful. It is, and I think it was I don't remember. I talked to you. I talked to Jamie. I did that 1 hour with Elijah. But one of the things we brought up yesterday was the fact that at this university, you come here, you're not a forgotten man just playing second to spring football. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about you. We're going to analyze you. We're going to critique you. We're going to praise you when you win. It works both ways. You get the negative publicity when you lose, and you get a lot of praise around here when you win.
Because people care. I mean, this is one of the more passionate fan bases in not just the SEC, but college baseball because, as we've talked about, they've seen the best. They've seen what good baseball looks like, and they've been desiring to get back to that ever since.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to this afternoon. We'll come back. Dave has 14 Larkin Poe autographs. 14. Tyler Head's going to ask you a question about autographs when we come back. You're listening to The Halftime Show.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
After destroying the Philadelphia 76ers last night, the New York Knicks, the first team in NBA playoff history to win 3 straight games by 25 points or more. And it feels like the ceiling of this team has been raised where not just winning the Eastern Conference is a possibility, but Knicks fans can now dream about winning an NBA championship. If the Knicks play with this level of intensity on offense and defense, the sky's the limit. I'm Nick Costos.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I left the pizza box on top of my car before driving home. Not smart. Oh, and a semi just turned my deep dish into a thin crust.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois. This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
love these texts coming in. Just
so adamant. So fired up.
JW.
Please stop living in the past. USC is no longer
Relevant in baseball. I think that's how he typed it out. Angrily.
Was it in all,
smacking his phone.
Was it in all caps?
Nah.
Okay. See, I don't read it loud unless it's in all caps.
I chose to. Am I wrong? Did I take it wrong?
No.
Am I being sensitive? Dramatic? I've said that for a while. You're just repeating what I said, JW. You're just repeating what I said. That's no fair. You're stealing my bit. 803-404-6100. You an autograph guy?
When I was younger, yeah. I'm more into, like, if I'm going to meet someone, I'd rather have a picture with them. Autographs don't do much for me anymore.
Dave, serious question. I'm not picking on you. You got 14 Larkin Poe autographs.
So far.
So far. Good point. Well, I think his restraining order is finally due to set in here soon. Why? And I'm not picking on you, but I'm genuinely curious as to why.
Why?
Yes.
Because I really like them. They're, my thing. So.
But an autograph, I get that. I get going to the concerts.
Well, I've got pictures with them as well.
Oh, wait. Are these pictures you're in that they signed?
They didn't sign the picture that I'm in with them because, it was taken on an iPhone.
Okay.
Now, did you get all the autographs yourself, all 14 of them, or did you buy some of these?
Some of them I acquired various ways. But, some of them I got in person at the scene from them.
Okay.
So I'm not picking on you. I very early, I never forget, my father went to Orlando. I was young, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in there. And he came back home, and he had a Ken Griffey Jr. signature on a cocktail napkin.
Okay, cool.
And
is that all that he had available?
Yeah, he said he was down there for a conference, and he was at a place there around Disney World, and Ken Griffey Jr. just happened to be down there with his family and was shooting pool and whatever. I don't know. I forget the story now, but he walked up and he got a signature on a cocktail napkin that evening, and he brought it home, and it was really, a great gesture. But I kind of remember thinking, like, and even at a young age, like, how do I know that you didn't just have somebody, how did I know that it wasn't a guy who looked like Ken Griffey Jr.? And so at that point in my life, kind of like, honestly, if you were to list things that I want, like, an autograph is way down the list. I honestly, and I'm not picking on you, Dave, that's why I ask why, like, because I can sign something and bring it in and be like, oh, look, I got a Matthew Perry signature. Well, he's not here to defend himself. No offense to Matthew Perry, but, like, you get my point. Like, I'm just like, nah, it doesn't impress me with autographs.
And again, for me, if I meet somebody that I'm a fan of or whatever, I'd rather get a picture with them. That's something I can go back and look at. I can show people and that kind of stuff. That's more, to me, valuable than getting somebody to, especially if it's a secondhand autograph where somebody else got it for you. Then I'm like, well, I didn't even get the experience of being with the person when they signed it for me, so I don't know. That to me doesn't hold as much value.
Best case scenario is to get a picture of them signing it with you standing with them.
And then get them to sign that picture while you also get another picture of them signing that. You can just do an endless loop of them signing pictures with you.
Like the opening of Modern Family, just picture after picture.
Like, I don't think that I could be wrong on this, Dave. I'm speaking kind of out my rear end on this. I'm assuming there's not a market for Larkin Poe autographs.
Watch your mouth.
Well, and that's my point. Like, I will admit there was a time in my life where I had a good buddy who was obviously way ahead of his game. I mean, we were like 11 or 12, and he knew all the minor leaguers that were coming up. He had the books on, like, who was the top-rated minor leaguer, and if they were coming to Capital City Stadium, back when it was the Bombers or the Mets before that, he would go find the baseball cards, which nobody else knew who these minor leaguers were, so they'd be relatively cheap compared to trying to buy, like, a Frank Thomas or a Barry Bonds or a Ken Griffey Jr., and he'd go over there and he'd get signatures. So he had hundreds of minor league players' signatures, because if y'all remember, kind of like, well, it's a little different, I guess, than Segra, but Capital City Stadium, I mean, you basically could have wandered into the visitors' dugout and just sat with them, and nobody would have said anything.
Sure.
Security, we'll just say, was lax. And so with that being said, he got me into it, and so I would take some car. He would be like, hey, we got to get this guy, this guy, this guy. That guy's going to play in the pros. let's get his autograph. So I had a collection. I didn't have anybody big. Now, he had a Derek Jeter card.
Oh,
that was
wow.
signed. So that's
Okay.
different because
That's awesome.
to me, there is a, when I was really into the baseball card phase, or all cards, but baseball, yes, that holds value that you can then like turn around and resell and make money off it. I see that as different than just like having an autograph.
That's more of a business type of approach. Like, hey, I hear Derek Jeter's coming in town. He's going to be a superstar, or I feel like he's going to be a superstar. Get his autograph. Did he ever sell that thing, by the way, or did he keep it?
Not that I'm aware of. I know.
Probably could have sold it for a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I have probably the best signature I've got that I'm aware of is I have a Dustin Johnson signed Masters flag from the year he won it.
Okay.
Which is 2020, which is pretty cool. But I mean, I don't really show it off because I didn't see him sign it.
Yeah. You don't have a story to go along with it.
All right. Well, we will come back on the other side. Hour number 2. It's the halftime show.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me, John Ecton.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health. Are you considering a new roof or repairs but unsure where to start? Crescent Construction offers free roofing estimates to help you make informed decisions with ease. Our expert team is ready to assess your needs and provide comprehensive insights. Visit our website, crescentcarolina.com, to learn more about our services and schedule your free estimate today. Trust us to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. Don't wait. Contact us today at crescentcarolina.com.
The 2026 Gamecock football season will be here before you know it, which means it's never too early to secure your season tickets. From the roar of the crowd to towels waving to Sandstorm to the flashing lights after a Carolina touchdown, there's only one place to catch a game, and that's at Williams-Brice Stadium. The experiences you'll have here can't be matched by staying home, so make your plans today to join us in our home for the 2026 season. Visit thegamecockclub.com to check out the various ticket options available for this fall.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
O'clock. The current 107.5 The Game time. That's right. We have our own time around here.
I feel like we should make a deal out of 107 every day. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? I never thought about
Why
that.
not? 107 and 50 seconds.
Yeah. It should be like a pivotal. Well, we're statewide, so we have different times for different places. But at least here in Columbia, I feel like 107 and 50 seconds should mean something to us.
That was the exact time this station went on the air.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Sure was.
Really?
Yeah.
What day was that, Dave?
November something.
2007 or 2009?
This station as a sports station, or this station just in general, WNKT?
This one.
I think it's this one.
Okay. Right. The frequency was in Charleston before that, so.
I didn't know that about it going on air at 107. That was news to me. That's good. That's a interesting. But I think it was Jay would know. Jay would know. Jay was here for that.
Oh yeah, he was here.
Jay was here for that. He's the only one still here from that.
He'll back me up on that.
I believe you. I'm still a little.
It doesn't sound like you do. You got to get Jay to ask.
Now, was that AM or
I didn't know
PM?
you were here, but I didn't know you were here because I know you were elsewhere prior, so I was unaware that you were here at that time.
I already left that place over there. I was here.
Okay. Well, I learn something new every day. 803-404-6100. I also learned today that there is a Larkin Poe. Now, Dave, you tell me if you got one of these because we might have to partner up here, see if we can make some money. Larkin Poe Holy Ghost Fire signed print, $220.
Oh, yeah. Holy Ghost Fire. That was, that was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. An unsigned print, $75. You get that baby signed, it's $220.
Yeah. I mean,
make you a couple dollars.
It goes. They're getting more popular every day.
Okay. Wow.
That way, all those 14 autographs you have are just going to keep going up in value, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of, where they're this picture and then a different version of the picture. They're looking to the left, they're looking to the right, looking straight ahead.
Got to cover all bases.
Yeah,
Left,
and
right,
then I've got the
up, down.
Fender one, which Fender did a promotional picture of them together, playing Fender instruments, and they signed that. That's really good.
Well, there you go.
You get yourself some pretty good seats. That's 14 times 200, $2,800. You can shoot. You can't fly Spirit, but you can probably get to wherever you want to go. Go see them in Napa in 2 weeks. You get tickets for $75. I'd look into it.
Yeah.
You got to sell them portraits first. Think about it. Get back to me on that. We'll take a guy's trip. 803-404-6200. That'd be my introduction to Larkin and Poe, and I would thank you for paying.
Not Larkin and Poe. It's Larkin Poe.
Okay.
It's not Hall and Oates.
I don't know. So I think this is the first time I've ever seen a picture of them.
Becca and Megan, sisters.
Okay. All right. We learn something new every day. Let's learn a little bit about NASCAR. Over the weekend, Chase Elliott. Now, we'll come back on Thursday, and we will talk with Doug Turnbull, and we'll make our picks for the Survivor, our NASCAR Survivor Challenge. But over the weekend, we hadn't addressed really Chase Elliott and the race that he ran to get his second victory of the year.
Yeah, 2 wins. He usually doesn't win a lot early in the season, so good for him. Top 3 in points. Survived a lot of the chaos of the day. Your pick of Christopher Bell, Did you watch? You see what happened?
I didn't. I told you I was doing about 9 other things. It was my birthday on Sunday, and we went. I think we were at a dinner when it was going on. I didn't really have access to a TV.
Well, he was leading, and in stage 1, Todd Gilliland spins in front of him, takes him out, hits the wall, finishes dead last. So you did not win this week. You came in last. Though, had he continued on, probably had a really good shot at winning the race.
I'm pretty good at getting up in there and having a chance. I have not pulled off a couple. You mentioned, was it 2 weeks ago? Bubba Wallace, was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Bubba Wallace was running a really good race.
You had him at Talladega. You had Ricky Stenhouse, who nearly survived the chaos in the last lap of the Daytona 500 to win that. He finished second. So your picks are good. It's just the luck's not on your side.
There's a little bit of luck to it. But what do you make so far of the season, of where we stand? You see, obviously, the dominance of Tyler Reddick. Chase Elliott has got 2 victories on the season. You still got a lot of really good drivers looking to break through and get their first win of the season. We'll get more into this again with Doug on Thursday, but your kind of thoughts right now?
Yeah, you're kind of getting to the point, as we're 11 races in, where you're starting to separate the contenders and pretenders a little bit. And again, now that we're back to focusing specifically on points again, you follow it a little bit more closely week to week, and I can feel pretty confident now in saying I think the champion this year is probably going to come out of your top 8 in points. I don't see anybody below that realistically could mount that kind of charge. Maybe William Byron, maybe Bell, again, who took a dip this past week. But it's about consistency. Obviously, Reddick is the most consistent so far this year. And as points lead become of that. No, I've enjoyed it so far. I think it's been a good start to the year, and a lot of storylines developing so far.
Am I wrong to think that Denny Hamlin being second in the points has kind of gone under the radar? He had the issue, obviously, in the offseason with the fire at his house, and it seemed like a whole bunch of things. And we know he's a really good driver. We know what he's capable of, but it also seems like last year not winning the Cup, kind of, I don't know, the way y'all kind of framed it to me, it felt like that was his best chance, and the window's closing, which, I mean, look, he's up there in age, so it is closing.
Right.
But you look there and you see him right there. He's got 1 win on the season, but he's got 5 top 5s, which is right there with Chase Elliott, and then Tyler Reddick has 7 top 5s to go along with his 5 wins. Hamlin has been really good, but I don't feel like he's necessarily getting all the credit that maybe he deserves.
Yeah, and look, he's had cars capable of winning. Funny enough, the 2 races that Chase Elliott's won, he's been the runner-up in that, and you could even argue that maybe he had the better car and won, if not both of those races. So he's running up front, and you're right. Going back to when we talked about his win at Las Vegas, there was questions coming into the season with everything that he went through in the offseason, and obviously the heartbreak from last year, like, man, is that going to kind of take the wind out of his sails? And it clearly hasn't, but he's 44 now, I think. It's an interesting study when you look at even some of the greatest of all time, the Jimmy Johnsons, the Darrell Waltrips, those kind of guys. There comes a point where they just fall off immediately, and it doesn't really have an indication, because Jimmy won his last title in 2016, won 3 races in the first half of 2017, and then never won again. It just completely flipped a switch. So you never know when that flip's going to come. Typically, as you get into your mid to late 40s, that's when those kind of things start to happen. But up to this point, it hasn't happened to Denny Hamlin yet.
Over the weekend, I guess not over the weekend. What day was the Met Gala?
It was last night.
Okay,
last
it was last night? Yeah, last night was Monday, wasn't it?
Yeah, he gets some wild outfits.
So Carson Hocevar gets a chance to attend the Met Gala, and this caught your attention?
Yes, it did. And you weren't here on Thursday when I talked to Doug, but him winning at Talladega the prior weekend, we talked about his celebration where he's literally sitting on the door of the car, the fans are going crazy. That was a moment, right? And I'm watching it as a fan like, okay, this is the making of a star, right? Now he has to continue to win. He has to continue to run up at the front, which I do think he'll continue to do. But, one thing, and there are probably a lot of, lapsed fans that are listening right now that talk about, they don't have superstars anymore. Back in the days of Earnhardt and Gordon and Rusty Wallace and all that kind of stuff, those guys were huge, and I loved them for their personality, not just them driving race cars. And Hocevar has the makings of one of those guys that people can relate to and has the ability to cross over into the mainstream if he continues to be successful. And going to the Met Gala is perfect crossover for that, because that's where sports, entertainment, and everything clash. And he's the first driver to go since Gordon went 10, 15 years ago.
All right. You know what? Thank you. Because now I feel like what I'm about to say is validated. You tell me if I'm wrong, but back in the day, before I was really following NASCAR, I knew the name Jeff Gordon.
Yes.
But it felt like there was a lot of Jeff Gordon hate because Jeff Gordon was the pretty boy. Jeff Gordon wasn't a NASCAR, wasn't a man. I don't know how to frame it, but NASCAR is different. Wasn't a man's man in terms of NASCAR. He wasn't Dale Earnhardt Jr. He wasn't Richard Petty. He wasn't the hard-nosed drivers that it looked like he wasn't one of the hard-nosed drivers that would personally work on their own car, take it out in the track. He's too pretty for that. His hands are too clean, and he didn't like it. And I hate to see this picture of Carson Hocevar, and you're right, stars become stars sometimes because they become villains.
Yeah.
Carson Hocevar might be onto something if he can win a little bit more because he's the pretty boy.
He might. I'm glad you brought that up because, because Jeff Gordon was Dale Earnhardt's biggest rival at the end of his career, and they couldn't have been polar opposites.
Right.
Because you have Dale Earnhardt, who looks like the guy that came and fixed your HVAC last week, that's from North Carolina, living on a farm, speaks in a southern drawl, and drives a black race car with GM Goodwrench on it. And then there's this kid from California that comes in, nice hair, clean cut, driving a rainbow-looking car. Perfect opposite ends of the spectrum that built that rivalry into what it was. I grew up a Jeff Gordon fan as a kid. I dealt with all of the abuse from people for being a fan, so I know it firsthand. But and I don't know if Carson Hocevar is going to go down that path of being a villain necessarily, but he has the ability because like Chase Elliott is somebody that's the most popular driver in the sport, son of Bill Elliott, but he's not out there a whole lot. We don't know a whole lot about him away from the racetrack because he's very private and keeps to himself, which that's fine, teach their own. But for the sport to continue to grow, it needs people that have mainstream appeal. It needs people that the average person that doesn't watch a race can name, right? If you say, hey, name a NASCAR driver, and they said, hey, it's Carson Hocevar. That's the kind of appeal that the sport is looking to have that right now they don't quite have. And I don't know if he's going to be that guy or not, but he's got the makings of it.
It felt like, and that's another reason I go back to Denny Hamlin. It felt like Hamlin was that guy because he was a villain. He wasn't liked. He does a podcast.
Yeah.
He's racing for one team but owning another team. He's doing all the things that basically it feels like NASCAR drivers shouldn't be doing. He was on he was one of the guys who was on the what was the Netflix show, Full Swing?
Full Speed.
Full Speed.
Yeah.
And he's got this beautiful house with a basketball court at it, and he does all these things. He's part of Michael Jordan's 2311 in there with him. And I feel like he got humanized a little bit in the offseason with everything, and now we're all kind of okay, he's not such a I know Jen hates him, which probably made me love him even more.
And he's coming towards the end of his career. Now, he'll still stay around in the ownership role because 2311 will continue, but the vast majority of his career, he was racing with Gordon, Stewart, Johnson, Earnhardt Jr., all these other stars that he didn't quite match up to. So now that all those guys are retired, he did become one of the biggest names in the sport, but didn't have that same crossover appeal to where the average person on the street's going to be able to tell you that Denny Hamlin's a NASCAR driver. So they're still looking for that next person. And again, I don't know if it's going to be Hocevar or not, but he's got the makings of it being him because that's what makes the sport grow is having that crossover appeal.
And I'm with you because I'll be honest, if Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney walked in here and you were like, I give you $1 million to figure out which one's which, I'd be just sad laying on the ground crying. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd be
because
it.
and again, I grew up as a kid in the early 2000s when the sport was at its most popular ever, and you'd go into a grocery store, you'd see them on cans of food and cereal boxes and toys, and you couldn't watch commercials without seeing those guys being featured in it. And as the sport has kind of regressed back a little bit, they're not out there in front of people as much. And I hope that we're getting back to the point where we see that again because that helps everybody out.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in on any of that. We'll get back into some college football. The Brendan Sorsby situation. I'm kind of fascinated on where this is going to land, but also it feels like Sorsby has become a better quarterback without playing a game, that we think more highly of him. We'll discuss that and his pending lawsuit with the NCAA when we come back. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Here at the Game, we're expanding our local lineup. Starting on Monday, May 11th at 6 p.m., we debut Connecting Carolinas with Scott Hamilton. Presented by FanStream Sports. From 6 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, right here on The Game. You could also ask Scott if he can still do that backflip on ice skates.
Most of us can't imagine watching figure skating without Scott Hamilton being a part of it.
What's that? Oh, it's not that Scott Hamilton. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Tyrant here for our friends over at Canty Foundation Specialists. I tell you about it all the time, but I will remind you once again, you always need to be on the lookout for things around your home that are a little bit off. Things like cracks in your exterior brick, cracks in and above windows and door frames, doors or windows that might be sticking, uneven or bouncy floors, cracks over your garage door. If you notice any of these problems with your home, you could have serious foundation issues, and that's where our friends over at Canty Foundation Specialists come in. Do not wait. Those problems will only continue to get worse with your home. Go online to cantycanfixit.com and schedule your appointment with our friends over at Canty Foundation Specialists so they can come out, evaluate those crawl space and foundation issues with your home, and address them right away so you and your family don't have to worry going forward. Again, go online to schedule your appointment today at cantycanfixit.com for our friends at Canty Foundation Specialists.
I'm Michael Jeffcoat. When good people get hurt in a bad wreck, a lot of insurance companies won't offer to pay full value to them. You deserve better than that. Call Jeffcoat. All hours, every day. 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
When money's tight and you're behind, it can be tough to play catch-up. But Liberty Mutual can help you make a comeback, a fourth quarter go-ahead drive, if you will. Liberty Mutual is clutch by customizing your car and home insurance to save you money, especially when you bundle. It's insurance built for real people with a team that works hard to help keep more of what matters most in your pocket, money. Liberty, 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 liberty. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local independent agent, libertymutual.com.
It's the start of official grilling season, so get outside and fire up the grills with Heartland Steak Co., known for its high-quality meat, unbeatable freshness, and a family-style commitment to care. At Heartland Steak Co., you're getting premium Midwestern meats, hand-cut, hand-picked, and delivered straight to your door. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $175 or more, you'll get 8 free steak patties with promo code PATTIES at heartlandsteakco.com. Taste the Heartland difference.
Are you ready for a new Gamecock tee? At Gamecock Traditions, they've got the latest styles and deals that will make you do a double take. Right now, grab 2 tees for just $25. That's right, 2 for $25. Most places charge that for just 1. Want name brands? Champion tees are just 2 for $38. And you can mix or match men's, women's, or kids styles. Small sizes all the way to triple extra large. Fresh designs, incredible prices. Always the Gamecock Traditions way. Lexington, Sandhills Village, or online at GamecockTraditions.com. Don't wait, these deals won't last.
Looking for a truck dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, your truck headquarters, proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're after a brand new Silverado, a tough pre-owned truck, or expert service, you'll find it all right here with a huge selection and the best truck deals around. There's no better place to shop. Visit HerndonChevy.com or stop by today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
Sponsored by Woodman Life, protecting hardworking families with life insurance.
Woodman Life believes every hardworking American deserves to leave a legacy. Life insurance helps protect the people you love and the future you've worked hard to build, so your story lives on. Get your quote at woodmanlife.org. Woodman Life is the brand name for Women of the World Life Insurance Society in Omaha, Nebraska. Ad number 80136.
I'm Michael Jeffcoat. When good people get hurt in a bad wreck, a lot of insurance companies won't offer to pay full value to them. You deserve better than that. Call Jeffcoat. All hours, every day. 803-200-2000.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia. Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
$118, about to be $119 on your Tuesday afternoon as we roll along and little college football talk, especially outside of South Carolina. Let's be honest, college football is what makes the wheels on the bus around here go. And Tyler, I'm trying. This Texas Tech quarterback, Brendan Sorsby. By now, you've had to hear the story. If you haven't, congratulations on your trip outside of the world. You've been in space. They have found out that he gambled while at Indiana. And that was actually the first time I realized Brendan Sorsby was at Indiana. This was when Indiana was not good, but he was at Indiana and then went to Cincinnati. And he has placed a lot of wagers on things. I think there's still some answers that I still don't completely have in terms of how much he was wagering per bet, how much he was losing per year, things of that nature, because, I'd be kind of fascinated to know that. Gambling is an addiction.
Yep.
And it's something to take seriously. But, Tyler, sometimes in this situation, it's hard for me to take it. It's hard for me to take it seriously when we've modernized it to the point that ESPN is promoting lines. They're hosting a show called Bad Beats.
Yeah.
For people who are already down on themselves, who have had bad. Now flip over to ESPN and you got to relive your bad beat.
Well, and it was such a quick 180, right? Because for the longest time, up until a handful of years ago, betting in sports wouldn't dare cross paths with each other. There was a reason why there weren't professional sports teams in the city of Las Vegas for the longest time, because they didn't want to cause that temptation for whatever athletes would be living there to get themselves into problems. Eventually, the leagues figured out, hey, wait a minute, if we partner with these things, we can make a lot of money. And then it became okay. And then, like you said, you can't turn it on ESPN or Fox or anything like that without seeing some kind of correlation to gambling being widely accepted. That being said, the NCAA still has guidelines in terms of what you can do and can't do as a student athlete in terms of gambling. And again, to our knowledge, every team makes sure their players know what they can and can't do, but it's up to them to go out there and not act on it. And again, we're talking about something that's an addiction and a problem that, you have control over, but you don't have control over, if that makes sense. So this is something that Sorsby's obviously been doing for a long time. It's obviously got him in a lot of hot water right now. And the question becomes of, okay, when he finishes this rehab process, however long that takes, will he be able to play college football ever again?
I'm just laughing. I knew, I don't know where, I have no clue where, I've never done a study, where your gambling peak is. Like, is it in your 20s in college? Maybe you're betting a little less, but you're betting more. You're betting less money, but you're betting more often because it is less money because you don't understand the consequences? Or is it like closer to in your 40s when you should have money through a job? So now you have more to bet, but maybe you're betting less bets, but more money. Does that make so? And I say that because I'm thinking back 26 years ago when I was in college. I knew a bunch of people. You go down to 5 points, you run into people, a bunch of people who were gambling. It was a kind of a shock to me to understand that. I was naive when I showed up at college. Boy, was I not when I left. But with that being said, I go back. You had to basically call somebody back then, 26 years ago. If you went on the internet, there was the beginning of the internet was just happening with the gambling. But if you called somebody, so you only worried about that guy getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Now you've got links and receipts and everything, and this is what has caught Brendan Sorsby.
Sure. Well, and that's the thing that, again, this isn't the first time that this has popped up in college sports in the past couple of years. These things are so easy to track because, again, the account is tied to you.
Right.
More often than not. Now, I know there was, I forget what player it was, I think from Iowa a couple of years ago, the Iowa State quarterback, I think, that got in trouble, but he used like his mom's account, but still, that was easy to track back to him. So all lines lead back to you. And again, it's a very easy thing, as we've talked about. It's on your phone. You can go to BetMGM or FanDuel or whatever and place a bet right now we're watching the Missouri-Auburn softball game. You can probably place an in-game bet for this right now as we're sitting here watching it. So it's a lot easier. So the hoops you have to jump through to make those kind of things happen are less and less and less, which makes it more enticing. And if you're somebody like, Brendan Sorsby, who has made a significant amount of money in his college career, you have the funds to spend on it. So that can make that problem worse and worse.
Well, you have more funds. Yeah, what did we think his NIL deal was in the $5 billion range with Texas Tech?
He's one of the highest paid quarterbacks this cycle.
When you say they have the funds for it, it's not like, back then they used to have Stipend money, yeah. And so you might have an extra.
But that
100.
was supposed to last you like the whole semester, right?
Now
it's like, all right, if you're gonna gamble on that $20, you might not eat tomorrow.
You honestly you lose $500,000, and you do that with $5 million in a blink of an eye. You're like, oh, that was 10%. We're good. But I think here's my other thing to this. And look, again, I'm not trying to downplay gambling, and anybody that's ever had a gambling addiction. I grew up in a time, and this is where I'm trying to. I think I ignore it. You heard the stories. They didn't have like the evidence because there wasn't cell phones with cameras at that point, because it's been pointed out many times. How many times do you think they would have caught Jordan in Atlantic City or somewhere else? Charles Barkley back in the day. There's a lot of rumors about Phil Mickelson. I think there was a big one where Phil Mickelson put down one of the first years the Diamondbacks won the World Series, that he'd put down like $1 million and won something like almost $20 million.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact numbers were, and there's rumors floating around that one of the reasons he had to go to live, he was in such gambling debt, he had to sell his private jet, which I'm sure is a ridiculous problem to have in life. Like, oh, I'm in such debt, I got to sell the private jet. But I feel like those guys taught me this is okay. My idols.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. I don't know if Charles Barkley was an idol, but Phil Mickelson, watching golf.
I think there's also, because you're right, back then you were going to casinos. You were gambling on the golf course with other celebrities, as Michael Jordan was back in the day and stuff like that. I think there was a coolness factor to it back then, right? Because, again, these are high-profile guys in Vegas or wherever they are, doing this at places and sports books and all that kind of stuff. And now, is gambling not cool anymore because of how easy it is? Like, there's not a sophistication to it of like having to go to a specific place or do it that way, where now, again, anybody can do it at any time.
I don't know. I don't know about cool. I don't know if the cool is the word I would use, but I mean, you go to it's funny. It is actually funny. I've never thought about this until you just said that, because it happens now so frequently. I go to a Carolina game and you can watch another game on your phone.
Yes.
So you're sitting there watching a live game, but you got your phone turned and you're watching Alabama-Auburn, Clemson-Florida State, whatever it may be. Or because you can pull up YouTube TV or DirecTV on your phone, you might have Miami of Ohio against Buffalo, and you can find a channel that's got it on TV.
Yeah.
And so you're sitting around, and you look around in a crowd that's 25 people, probably 15 have their phones out watching another game. And you're like, well, what game are you watching? They give you some random game, like, well, I got so-and-so +7.
Yeah.
You're like, all right. And as you said, you're watching that game, and then you can go over, and you go, well, I'm going to live bet this thing as if, I'm sitting in a casino. And it's just it's all crazy how it has evolved, but you don't see, I think, the evolution of the sports, both college and professional, trying to figure out how to rein it back in.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying, and again, the NCAA has clear guidelines on what you are supposed to do and not supposed to do. There is an element of like, they're not going to catch me.
Yeah.
They're not going to figure this out. And that may have been what got Brendan Sorsby in trouble.
Yeah, you would think, because you don't, and how did this officially come to light?
I don't know what the smoking gun was.
Yeah, we haven't. See, that's the thing. Yeah. Like, did Sorsby stand back next to an NCAA official and be like, "Hey, I'm taking Indiana -3 tonight. You got a feeling on that?"
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, "Well, wait a minute,
aren't you playing for Indiana right now?"
Yeah. Like, wait, I don't. How did he? Well, you're right. That's the one thing about this story that hadn't come out, because remember, John Mateer got in some trouble, hot water last year for a Venmo?
Yeah, because he was putting stupidly obvious tags on his Venmos about gambling.
Yeah.
Now, I guess they weren't able to track that back to specific accounts, so they couldn't prove it completely, I guess. But yeah, we've become very bold and very out there with how we do things, and that gets you in trouble sometimes.
Well, listen, the one thing that has never changed is it's cool to talk about when you win.
Yeah.
It's cool to show it if he's walking into a locker room. I mean, honestly, they're making a lot more money, but if you're 20, 21, 22, and you're like, hey, man, I hit the Celtics, I guess I should say the Sixers. I hit the Sixers over the Celtics on Sunday night for $2,000. How cool am I? I knew how to pick them.
We do that same thing ourselves. If you've ever played any of that daily fantasy stuff, and I've won $20 here and there, but like, it gets you excited, right? You want to tell somebody, hey, I bet on that game, and I got the +7, or I got the point total, and I won $30, and nothing at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things, but it's exciting. You want to like revel in that victory, and again, the more and more you put into it, the bigger and bigger that excitement level can build.
Yeah, it's we'll see what happens with Sorsby. Now we got about a minute left. Should he lose eligibility? Does he lose eligibility? Should he lose eligibility? Should he win his case? What's your take on that?
I don't think he's going to win his eligibility. Now, they did get Jeffrey Kessler, who was at the front of the House versus NCAA lawsuit as the House's lawyer, so he's a notorious NCAA killer. So he went out there and armed himself with the best possible guy for the job. I just don't know if they're going to get it done or not.
Yeah, and obviously, kind of like Rasul Faison, he's on a time clock here, and now you're throwing in the potential to go to the NFL supplemental draft and just go ahead with your career instead of sitting out football for an entire year. It does sound like within the next, by the end of this month, maybe even sooner, he'll have made a decision on that. And by all signs point to him going to the supplemental draft, and then it'll be interesting to see what team's willing to give up a pick next year in the draft to take him now. 803-404-6100, how you can win. We'll come back, get into some Major League Baseball. Oh, Rob Manfred's got an idea, and I don't know how to think about it. We'll tell you when we come back.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry for over 30 years. But I tell you that each and every day because I believe in them. That's why they've been the leaders, because of their customer service, the way they treat people, the way they're there for you. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But there are other things that Mid-State Roofing does exceptionally well, whether it's a high-rise or a hospital, manufacturing or industrial. Mid-State Roofing does design and install bonded systems with a protective guarantee that keeps that operation, whether it's your home or your business, dry and running long into the future. And again, they're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. You can visit them online as well, midstateroofing.com. Again, that's midstateroofing.com. That phone number again, call them now. Line up some maintenance on your roof, 803-356-1919. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000. Use code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Are you ready for a new Gamecock tee? At Gamecock Traditions, they've got the latest styles and deals that will make you do a double take. Right now, grab 2 tees for just $25. That's right, 2 for $25. Most places charge that for just 1. Want name brands? Champion tees are just 2 for $38. And you can mix or match men's, women's, or kids' styles. Small sizes all the way to triple extra large. Fresh designs, incredible prices. Always the Gamecock Traditions way. Lexington, Sand Hills Village, or online at GamecockTraditions.com. Don't wait, these deals won't last.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. You know, too often guys will not go to the doctor when they're feeling off, whether it's because they think they can tough it out or because they don't want to talk about it. Don't be that guy. Get to feeling better after you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. They are experts in healthcare for men, and they're dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. Call them up for a free consultation, 803-875-MENS, and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because Rhino Shield is backed by a 25-year warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick. Put down that paintbrush and pick up your phone. Call Rhino Shield at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
For your 15% off, call now, 833-RHINO-99. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Steelers in 75. I only like the Broncos and they come alive. Like the Redskins in 83. And when the Dolphins are playing well, yeah, well, they're the team for me. Cause I'm Fairweather Johnson. Yeah, yes, I'm Fairweather Johnson.
All right, what was this?
It was Fairweather Johnson by Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie. I can honestly say I have never heard that in my life.
That's their follow-up album to Cracked Rear View.
Okay.
They were called a failure because that one only sold 14 million copies. You know, in Cracked Rear View, sold 24 million copies.
Of course.
14 million? Well, that's a disaster. I enjoyed the album.
That was something I did not know existed. Thank you, Dave, for bringing that to my attention. Fairweather Johnson by Hootie and the Blowfish. Did you catch any of that?
No, I did not. Fill me in.
Nah, there's no way. You have to re-listen to it during the break. There's no way for me to fill you in on that. I don't even know right now how to explain it.
Okay.
And I like to think I'm somewhat decent with explaining stuff.
It's a fan who likes teams that, you know, so they jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, the Broncos, the Redskins, and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's what I picked out of that.
Yep, and the Braves in 95.
Braves in 95. Speaking of the Braves, speaking of baseball, we'll get into that. We'll do our Chop Talk coming up maybe on Thursday. By the way, Braves, how'd you blow that one last night? Like, undefeated this year with the lead, with a 4-run lead at any point in the game. And I was working on something, and they're up 4-0. I'm like, well, they're going to cruise to victory. I look up, they're down 5-4, and they end up losing last night. You hope that that's not one that sends them into a little bit of a tailspin just because of how shocking it was.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting that was J.R. Ritchie's second career start, a home start for him. He is from the Seattle area, and he was working pretty well through the first handful of innings, didn't allow any runs across, and then gave up a couple homers there, and that ended up being the difference. The Braves got all the runs off of solo homers by the guys last night. Again, it's one game, not freaking out about it. Again, I think J.R. Ritchie's done a really good job in his first couple of outings, and I hope that that's something he can learn from.
Is that where Braves fans, how you decide who was a true Braves fan and who is just an imposter? You said, I know you're a true Braves fan, and I believe you when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
But you said you're not freaking out, whereas I feel like the majority of Braves fans will be like, oh, my God, here we go. This is it. Like, a lot of people are, when I put stuff on Twitter, like, hey, they're doing pretty well. They're like, settle down, big boy. Like, we're barely into May. Just chill out over there.
By the way, that was his third career start. Gave up one home run last night, but again, gave up a couple runs there in the sixth inning. That ended up being the difference in the game. But yeah, as I said earlier, I'm not on the end of people that are, doing cartwheels based on how they started. I'm glad and I'm excited for it, but I temper my expectations because it's still a very long season. You're only a little over a month into it right now. If they're still sitting there and haven't lost a series or only have, 25 losses by the time July 4th rolls around, that would be a different conversation, but we're still early.
Well, I will admit to you, I will openly admit to this, I have a little Braves garden flag that's supposed to go up outside of my house. I was running behind on getting it out. Left the Masters flag up a little bit too long, and the South Carolina flag. And so the Braves flag hasn't gone up. And now I feel like I can't put it up until they lose a series.
Yeah.
I may be deep down somewhere pulling for the Mariners to at least win tonight's game, so they take the series so I can put the Braves flag up and feel a little bit better about myself. But I do not want to be blamed for the Braves flag going up and then falling into a hole.
So are you trying to avoid being labeled a bandwagon fan by having some kind of representation of your fandom out and present at all times?
I don't feel like no, I don't mind that. I don't feel like being the reason that they go. Like last year, I put up the flag. They weren't. It was before they completely bottomed out. They were kind of fighting, hanging around, scrapping and clawing until what, about mid-June? I think it was mid-June last year, maybe late June, right before the All-Star game, where things just went and fell apart. And so and that was sadly about the time the Braves flag went out. So we don't want to. I feel like my Braves flag might hold a little bit of voodoo for them, and we don't want to have that. So I'm waiting.
So
because I feel like the second I put it out, they're getting swept.
For the season, if there's a little dip at some point, I'm going to ask you continuously, is the flag still up? We'll gauge where things are at on if Bill still has the flag up or not.
If they lose tonight, flag will be up tomorrow in time for game time. That'll be kind of what it is. We'll do more Braves talk on Thursday when we're both back here. 803-404-6100. Look, I'm a nostalgic or nostalgist, if that's even a word. I prefer things. When I see sports changing, it really bothers me. I did not like when the NFL changed the kickoff rules. I know it's dangerous, but you know what? They've played football that way for a long, long time. And you know what else they've done, Tyler? They've played baseball with the American and National League. I remember playing Nintendo games growing up, and you'd have the All-Star games, and you'd have Kirby Puckett, or you'd have all kinds of old players, Jack Morris throwing. You can go back, Dennis Eckersley. What's the pitcher for the Oakland A's, number 34, Stewart. But I can go back to that. Like, that's nostalgia to me.
Yeah.
I might not watch baseball as much as I used to. Now, I'm watching a lot more this year. I'll admit that. But I might not watch it as much as I used to. Let's just start with the fact that what they're discussing here is adding 2 franchises that would push it to 32.
Yep.
And then you would have basically 8 divisions of 4, but the 2 leagues would go from American and National to the very, very trendy East-West.
Essentially, yes. And you know, Rob Manfred discussed this back in January before the season started of the idea is to ease travel a little bit because, again, the majority, the teams you play the most are going to be the teams within your own division. So if you made it where all those teams were more localized, then that eases up travel throughout the season and stuff like that. And again, just looking at this concept here, it would have the Braves in the American League Southeast with the Marlins, the Rays, and a potential team that would be added to Charlotte is what I'm saying. But Nashville's also a team that gets floated out there in terms of a city that could add a team. But it'd be another team somewhere in the Southeast, which, again, you're talking about states that touch each other, a lot easier for travel for the games that you play against your divisional opponents. That's kind of the selling point here that Rob Manfred's trying to push is, hey, it's easier on the players. Again, makes more sense in terms of geography and stuff like that. But you would be ultimately blowing up kind of the long-standing concept of what these divisions have been for a very, very long time.
Rob Manfred has said that he plans to select 2 cities for expansion. I mean, he says he's pushing forward with this. His retirement is in 2029. Back in October, Manfred basically said, hey, this was during the World Series. He basically came out and said, this is going to happen. It's kind of like what we knew was coming with the NCAA tournament, expanding to at least 76, and which they did. Rob Manfred has said this. Now, Salt Lake City is also in contention to host.
There's like 4 or 5 cities that are in that conversation, and 2 ultimately get it.
Yeah, not host, but to be an expansion franchise. Excuse me, but I don't like any of this. I don't like American and National League, man. It just fits. It works. It's what I've grown up on.
Now, it doesn't mean the same thing that it used to because the leagues are the same now. Because it used to be you had differences in the rules between
which I don't like
pitchers hitting, designated hitter in the AL, and all that kind of stuff. Now everything's the same. So there's not at least a difference in the leagues anymore.
And I hate that. I dislike that. You know, baseball was such a quirky, unique sport, and managing goes into it. You know, they've banned the infield shift now. We've added a ghost runner at second base. We've done all these weird and wacky and wild things. But, man, I don't like this. I don't like changing up our games. I understand some stuff in football, and I don't understand other things. I do think there's a technology aspect of it. As players get bigger, faster, stronger, and using the ABS system does make sense in baseball. I do think it's embarrassing for umpires to constantly be called out on it.
Well, hey, they got to get better.
Well, yeah, it's harder than, hey, you got to get better. But, you know, with all that being said, where do we draw the line? And you know, you mentioned, well, and I don't know how others feel about this, but the Braves go into the West Coast because they would go out on the West Coast. They play the Dodgers or
they used to be in the West.
Giants. Yeah, true. Yeah. Good point. And they go out there and they play these late games, and on Friday night or Saturday night, it was like a treat if they were playing a late game like that to be able to stay up that night way past bedtime.
Sure.
And watch the Braves play the Giants. It feels like the Giants I saw more of.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I hate that. I don't like the idea of this, but we'll see. It's coming.
Something's going to happen. The expansion's coming. Will they realign everything becomes the question.
I think they will. I will whine and complain about it for a long time when it does happen. 803-404-6100. Amongst the three of us, you did not know, but we have a former football player who was quite, I say, the defensive end until one offensive lineman got a hold of him. We'll explain that when we come back.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gym that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
If you're a Detroit sports fan, you're going to want to sit down for this one. Tarek Skubal is headed for surgery to remove loose bodies in his left elbow, and it's a gut punch for the Tigers rotation, already missing some key arms. While it sidelines the two-time Cy Young winner for the next 2 to 3 months, the procedure is minimally invasive, so he will be back to late summer. But is that going to be too late for the Tigers? I'm Maddie Bates.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off duration, woodscapes, and super deck products May 1st through the 11th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
I told you once upon a time there was a young boy named David Dare. Future so bright in front of him, he had to wear shades. Football stardom at the tips of his fingers. An offensive player dedicated to his craft. His neighborhood friend. His next-door neighbor. The quarterback.
Correct.
He, David Dare, the highly thought-of wide receiver.
Absolutely.
Head full of hair. Gorgeous, flowing hair. Girls in the 6th and 7th grade couldn't keep themselves. They couldn't keep their hands off of him, is the way the story goes. And then, one day, in an attempt to get to the other quarterback, Dave's, what age, Coach?
I was in the 6th grade.
Dave, I'll let you.
And the coaches was like high school kids. Hey, man. So they put me in the first game. The first time they put me in a game, a real game. They put me in a defense.
Yeah, and you'd been practicing. You were a wide receiver by trade.
Right, exactly.
Some say you were the best 6th grader in the state when they had those rankings out.
I'm pretty sure I was.
I think so, too.
24/7 would have been all over you if that was around back then.
Oh, yeah.
And you were a monster of a human being. How big were you at this point in life?
I was like 4'7", 74 pounds.
A massive rising 6th grader. And you, against your will, but being the good player and the team player, of course, that you are.
Do whatever the coach says.
You're here to win.
Yep.
What happened?
He puts me in against the biggest guy I've ever seen in my life. If you remember Forrest Whitaker and Fast Time at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And that guy was angry, too. So I'm like, maybe I can sidestep him real quick, get around him, or something. No. He hits me so hard I go like 10 feet up in the air. But I landed on my feet and I start backpedaling. Whoa.
Probably not a good idea for a defensive end.
Yeah. And so, I'm telling the guy who's coming after me nonstop. He was mad because I didn't go down, I'm like, hey, man, whistle blew, play's over. Hey, we're good. We're good. No, he kept coming. Till I'm down on the ground. He's like pounding me onto the ground and everything.
We have acquired audio of the penalty that was called that day.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We have the audio of penalty was called to save Dave. Here is referee Cherry, if you will, Ron Cherry, of course, calling out the penalty and what transpired on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business. He played it there.
When you said Ron Cherry, I knew exactly what was about to happen.
Yeah. You were never the same after that, were you, Dave?
No. That was my last time I ever got into a game.
Oh.
He was like, hey, man.
Your football career, wow.
Go sit on the bench. And that was it. Never got in another game. I still have a scar, by the way, on my finger from that.
I'll tell you, sad.
I'll show it to you.
Well, if I know one thing, Dave, chicks dig scars and glory lasts forever. So
not really, because the cheerleader I like, Sharon Crisp. She did a thing where, like, Gordon, he's our man. I'm like, Gordon?
Oh.
You like Gordon?
That was in the game number 2.
Now, did she see this play happen?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, that hurts your chances a little bit there, Dave.
There are rumors, from what we could figure yesterday, rumors that he was the defensive end in The Blind Side. Now, obviously, he wasn't the actor in The Blind Side,
right,
but he was the defensive end that Michael Orr picked up, took on a ride, took a left turn,
took to the bus,
and smashed into the gate. We have yet to confirm that, and Dave has gone but the measurements of what Dave is describing fit Michael Orr professionally, and also according to Dave, what occurred on that play seems to fit well. So there is Dave.
Based on a true story, right?
It is based on a true. Also, we do know that to be fact that is based on a true story, and that who is the female actor in that movie? Who's the mom?
Sandra Bullock.
Is it Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
We know that Sandra Bullock was actually the mom of that.
Yeah, and she called that guy's dad Deliverance.
Yeah, and Lou Holtz was there also in that movie.
As was Nick Saban, Philip Fulmer. Mark Richt wasn't in it for some reason. I never understood that. They had some other guy playing the Georgia coach at the time.
Let me go back and look at this. I feel like there was a lot of controversy to that movie because at the time of filming, or maybe whatever it was, there was a controversy around here. I shouldn't be like national. But that basically Lou Holtz was wearing Notre Dame gear, not South Carolina gear.
I thought he was in Carolina
Maybe
gear.
it was. I thought that was a big debate. I'll have to go back and look. All right. Sorry, Dave. Hopefully we've worked through some of the pain and things. If not, we got a whole other hour. J.C. Sherbert's set to join us, too. It's the Halftime Show.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money, so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000. Use code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000.
Hey guys, Wes Mitchell from Gamecocks Central here to make sure your business and property parking lots are kept available from any unwanted cars taking up your spots with Schroeder's Towing. For instance, you're coming in hot to the game studios for your show and you park next door in an unauthorized lot with signage that was provided for free from Schroeder's Towing. Next thing you know, the show is in the books and your car is out of the lot. It really is that simple. That's a true story. Call Schroeder's today and keep those unwanted cars out of your lots. Online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Don't you love being treated special when you shop and saving money? That just makes it even better. At Gamecock Traditions, they've got more ways to save on all your Gamecock gear. Sign up for their emails and get the news and deals first. Show your Gamecock Club card, your Alumni Association card, or your faculty ID and score a discount on Gamecock merchandise. Military, you save. Is it your birthday? You save. And don't forget their loyalty program. Earn cash back on every purchase and it never expires. That's the Gamecock Traditions way. Lexington, Sandhills Village, or online at GamecockTraditions.com.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played wait for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Margarita Tuesday. And we get off at 3 o'clock, just in time to join the party. Dave, you got a favorite margarita?
Any margarita is good for me.
Any margarita. You don't have a specialty? Salt on the rim?
Oh, love the salt on the rim.
Okay.
I thought you had to have salts on the rim.
Not necessarily.
You don't? Okay.
You go. So you just any margarita. You're okay with pretty much anything. You don't, whether it's kind of frozen or on the rocks, you're pretty much good with anything. Is that right?
Yes, I'm even good with the stuff. I like it when it's the crushed ice, real.
Okay.
That's really the best. You can even buy it in the store in those little packages, I'll take that.
Okay. All right. And Tyler, you've had a margarita or two, but they're mainly just sips. You don't really have a dog in this fight.
I don't go out of my way to order one. Again, I think I was in college the last time I had a dedicated margarita. Well, actually, even then, it was like the pictures of them that were on sale or whatever. So,
okay.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I did go out with some friends. It was a couple years ago, but we did all share a margarita, like of a picture. So it has been a little more recent than that, but it's not something I usually go out of my way for.
I understand. I said that earlier. I think margaritas are a seasonal drink. I also think a Bloody Mary is a seasonal drink, and I do think that with margaritas, it becomes margarita season officially right here today on Cinco de Mayo, and that's when you can really thoroughly start enjoying them for the summertime months. Now, you got to be careful. There's some acid in them. Acid reflux is a real thing, folks. If you never had it, just be thankful. Margaritas will bring it out in you. I've been there. I can testify to that. Delicious drink, though. But you also, coming down, some people do make, really, really good. Like, if you fix a bourbon and Sprite, and y'all stop me if you disagree. If you fix a bourbon and Sprite or a vodka and whatever it is you folks drink with vodka cranberry, you fix those, it's pretty much all going to be the same.
Sure.
But people start getting in there with that margarita, and you got the margarita mix, and you got the tequila, and the right kind of tequila, and you're putting a lime in, you're putting salt on it, you're doing this, you're doing that. You got the particular mix that's better. Some is sweeter, some is not as sweet. There's a lot that goes in, and you will run into people who make a mean margarita and people who do not make a mean margarita, and it can be completely 180.
As I say, I don't think I've run into any that I've thought were bad. Now, again, those are typically from restaurants, so I guess getting somebody to make one at home or at somebody's house is different.
Yeah, no, it's different. Listen, and even at restaurants, you can tell the difference. This is not making me sound great, but the bottom line is, Yeah, I think margarita. I mean, look, not all beer tastes the same, but when you buy a beer, when you buy a Miller or a Coors or an IPA or whatever, you kind of know what you're getting. Like, you're not going to be caught off guard. You might be trying something new, but you're still pretty understanding of what you're about to get.
The Venn diagram of light beers and how similar most of them taste, pretty close.
Whereas, there are other drinks, martinis and things that people can mess around with and allocate the beverage, the mixers a little bit differently here and there. But, yeah, I think margarita might actually be the drink of summertime. And actually, do you know when? Not today is Cinco de Mayo, but do you know when this year National Margarita Day is?
I learned in music radio, because this was always a talking point for me, random days of the year. That it's probably in like August or something.
No, disappointing. It's February 20. It was previous past tense. It was February 22nd of this year.
Okay.
So we've already passed National Margarita Day, and it's disappointing. I don't know if that stays on that day every year, but always on a February 22nd. But also disappointing because again, National Margarita Day probably better suited for the end of May or sometime in the middle of June.
So who decides that, by the way?
I don't know.
Like again, we got days for ice cream and donuts and cheeseburgers and all that. Like, who sat down and agreed and made this calendar of when these days are?
Okay. Got it for you. Todd McCullough founded National Margarita Day and National Tequila Day to spread his love for margaritas around the world. Loved and consumed by millions, friends and families around the world honor this sacred tequila. Doesn't tell me what tequila. Just says this sacred tequila, triple second lime drink every year on February 22nd. So February 22nd, officially each and every year. Put it on your calendar, folks. National Margarita Day. And then, of course, we all know what Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th.
Okay, I learned something.
I try to inform the masses. I do a poor job. I don't always get words correctly. I mess up people's last names. And that'll lead us to our next topic in a second. But I do try to inform you of something each and every day so you can go home and tell your friends, your family, your kids you learned something today. 803-404-6100. Speaking of not being able to announce names properly. Oh, wait, I got to go back to this question just because I got to answer when the people ask. Bloody Mary seasonable? Yes, I do believe this. I will fight this one to the death. And you don't have to agree with me. Bloody Mary is a late fall into the winter kind of drink. It's heavy, it's thick. You ever drink a Bloody Mary like when it's hot out? That is a nasty, disgusting drink. Especially, and see, I say grew up on them, but I'll say my drinking ages, I wasn't a huge Bloody Mary fan. And then I had someone start making me some, and they did a proper mixture, and I was like, oh, this is good. But I had one around Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And it fit the vibe and it fit the weather. So I know a lot of you will drink your Bloody Mary when it's a noon football game, and you'll get out there in the morning and drink it. That's fine, especially in August and September. That's cool. I get it. But I think, no, Bloody Mary, to me, you start mid-November, and it really kicks into high gear around Thanksgiving. I feel like a Bloody Mary on the morning of Thanksgiving is almost a must-have.
Okay.
So
just don't order it looking in the mirror behind the bar and say it 3 times. You know what I mean?
Sadly,
we know, Dave.
Sadly, I did. And it brings back bad memories. A couple people texting in. Yeah, a lot of people say that Bloody Marys, it's seasonal for the seasonal hangover. Maybe during football season, I guess. And then, okay, another texter follows in. I'd never heard this. Bloody Mary is seasonal for every hangover. Okay, all right. I got
that's what I always heard about it. Is it's what you take the next day.
Is that okay?
Like the cure.
All right. Well, we're focused.
The caller says you should drink it with pickle-flavored vodka.
Yes, that is delicious. Yes. Who said that?
Oh, the caller.
We had a caller? Yes, caller. You are 100% right. I agree with that. It's a good call. Or the black pepper vodka. Also, it's margarita day. Anyway, South Carolina basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Love that transition. Will cause you to have a Bloody Mary. South Carolina basketball now, the 7 transfers all have homes. Tyler, what do we make? Like, a lot of people get fired up about this. None of the players. Now, you can make the case that Elijah Strong going to St. Louis did transfer up based on how they played. He didn't technically transfer up conferences. Did go to what appears to be a better team. But what do you take away from the 7 players that just left and where they went, and then put it in opposition of what we just saw him bring in? Does it cause you to go like, I hear you trying to paint the picture of a really good team you brought in, really good individual players. I'm not buying it anymore because I just saw these 7 guys leave and not a single one of them went to another high major school.
Yeah, I think it confirms what we knew to be true, that this wasn't a team that was capable of being competitive in the SEC. And again, you did pull some guys from some other, major programs, like Elijah Strong was at, Boston College before coming over here. And I mean, I guess you technically count Michi coming back as coming in from Ohio State. So you did get some guys from some major programs, but some of these guys were also, Mike Shreve-Jumps, he'd been at 12 different places before coming here, but he had, bounced around a little bit, and you had some other guys that you could see the potential of why Lamont Paris wanted to bring them in, but they obviously didn't live up to that, and now the way that they're viewed in the grand scheme of college basketball, they're all viewed as mid-major guys. So again, it really backs up, what last year's team was, and to my knowledge, I don't really even remember seeing any of them be in like the mix for bigger schools.
I never saw a big
or
name
anything like
mentioned.
that. I feel like I can't remember. Maybe one of them, there was a brief mention of like Kansas State or something like that, but that obviously didn't come to pass. So they weren't heavily pursued by any major schools, and obviously ended up landing at their respective, mid-majors, which I think we're all interested to see some of them like Eli Ellis and Cam Scott. Okay, what do these guys do at these new stops, and can they eventually work their way being back to Power 4? Because right now they're not viewed as that caliber of talent. And I hope we're not having the same conversation about this group coming in this time next year.
Well, but the point to that is you now have to judge. I'll be honest, folks. In the time that I've been covering South Carolina basketball, which is around 2007 to now, and then if I even go further back than that and just being a fan from really about 95 on, I've never seen apathy. Now, I wasn't around. I was alive, but I wasn't paying as much attention during the Steve Newton years. But with that being said, I think this is as low as the fan base has ever been. And I'll say it again, and I'm going to punch this home until a schedule comes out. If I'm Lamont Paris, I think there's no loss or there's no downside to scheduling a marquee team, if you can get them to come, at home to start the season. And by marquee, I mean like a Florida State. See if you can get a Miami. See if you lose, nobody's going to say a word, right?
Right.
Nobody's going to be like, oh, like you lose that game, everybody's just going to be like, yeah, same old, same old. But if you win, I mean, Tyler, you and I said this a few weeks ago. If they play a lower level team, it'll be roughly around November 4th, November 5th. We will be somewhere deep into the football season for South Carolina, and I think that'll be coming off a Halloween week, and I'll have to go back and look at the exact schedule and see who they got that week. I can't remember if it's Texas A&M or I think it's Texas A&M, but we're going to be talking football.
Of course.
The only way you're going to draw attention, and maybe you don't want attention, but the only way you're going to draw attention to your program in November, December is to beat a marquee team. Beat a marquee team and beat Clemson. And all of a sudden people go, oh, maybe he got it right this year. Maybe this is the B.J. Mack, Talon Cooper, Michi type team that can go and win games and give us something to really follow and be interested in January and February.
Yeah, it's something that will grab your attention because as of right now, outside of, really the Clemson game, because there's, built-in reasons to care about that one, I think this entire fan base is going to be in wait-and-see mode. Like, all right, that's fine. You beat all your mid-major teams, do that in January and February, and then we'll have a different conversation. Like the belief of this team being better is not going to be there until that concept is proven against the top end or against teams in the SEC.
Well, that's what happened last year. They beat everybody in the non-conference they were supposed to, lost the 4 that they needed, one of the 4 they needed, all the 4 that they needed to win. And so, yeah, you're exactly right. Like, if they do that again, everybody's just going to wave them off, throw their hand back at them, and be like, no, that doesn't really count. You did this last year, and look how you played in conference.
Sure, it is, but as we brought up, Maryland, Cincinnati, whoever, if you bring in somebody of value that has a brand, that again, would get people in the door. Because, again, if you start your season on, Tuesday, May 4th or November 4th or whatever that may be, playing Charleston Southern or whatever, yeah, people will show up, but it's not something that is going to create buzz. We'll talk about it the next day. Hey, season started. Here's what happened. But you really get things rolling and get people churned up and talking about your program, even if you don't win, right? If you played a high-level team and you played a good game against them, you say, okay, didn't start the season with a win, but you see the pieces and them going up against a quality opponent of what can be for that season. Because if you beat Charleston Southern 94-80, what do we do with that? What does that tell us anything? No, it doesn't.
No, and that's why. And by the way, we have to draw a line in the sand here. It doesn't mean go out and get Kansas or Michigan State or Michigan State or so forth and so on. No. Look around, read the room, and get a brand name team. Get a Georgia Tech. You want to go to the Big East? Go get a Seton Hall. Get somebody who is on. Don't go out and start getting UConn or Kansas or Michigan State or. Duke and North Carolina won't play South Carolina, so it's irrelevant. But, yeah, don't go down that path, and we'll continue to watch that. South Carolina will add a few more players, so this roster is not complete just yet. Lamont Paris, I believe, has said that they look to add a couple international guys that are still technically playing right now, and they can't announce those guys.
Yeah, that timeline's getting stretched out a little bit. I think he said hopefully in the next couple weeks, because I think he said June 3rd, I want to say, is maybe when he wants to have all these guys here. So, yeah, the international players obviously create a few more hoops to jump through. But, yeah, still a few more spots to add on the roster.
J.C. Sherbert, due up next. I'll be back with you on Thursday.
Yep, sounds good.
Speak with Doug Turnbull, and we'll reevaluate old Captain Dave's football career. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Bill Gunner for Old Timey Meat Market. Now, I got plans tonight. I got some plans tonight, but tomorrow night it is grilling season. And I said it yesterday. Looked on the old Twitter, the X or whatever we're calling it now, and saw some brats being grilled and thought, man, got to have some of those this week. So that means tomorrow I'm going by Old Timey Meat Market and picking up a few brats for me and the kids. Maybe even grab some steaks as well. Maybe some chicken. Maybe I'll throw on some shrimp. I know, maybe some fish. That's a lot of food, but at Old Timey Meat Market, I know I'm getting the absolute best cuts as well as the absolute best deal. So at Old Timey Meat Market, you need to go by because they make it a family buying experience. Not like a grocery store. They want to get to know your name. They want to get to know your kids. They want to get to know you and make it just like it used to be. That's why it's called Old Timey Meat Market. Stop at one of their 3 locations, South Congaree, St. Andrews Road in Irmo, or the Lexington store and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000. Use code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000.
Ad paid for by Adaptive Health. Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
I don't care how old or young you are. Life doesn't slow down for anyone. With Nugenix Total T2, the brand new testosterone and nitric oxide boosting formula, I'm keeping up with the kids and finally feeling like my old self again. Now, I've got enough in the tank for whatever life throws my way.
Text STREAK to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. STREAK to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
There's one way to stop the IRS from moving forward against you. That's to have an experienced attorney who understands the law and your rights. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. When you hear these so-called national tax resolution companies telling you your IRS problems can go away, ask yourself, does it sound too good to be true, or am I just talking with a salesperson? Will a licensed attorney handle my legal problem? An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. Don't trust your tax problems to some out-of-town TV spokesperson. Come meet with me in person, and together we'll take control. We've helped thousands of individuals and businesses with tax problems right here in South Carolina. Your first visit is completely free and confidential. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. If you're a Carolina resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Ecton.
Sponsored by Woodman Life, protecting hardworking families with life insurance.
Woodman Life reinvests in our communities through donations, volunteering, and supporting local programs. Our people and places are at the heart of everything we do. Get your life insurance quote at woodmanlife.org. Woodman Life is the brand name for Women of the World Life Insurance Society in Omaha, Nebraska. Ad number A0137.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
It is 2:19 on a Tuesday. Joining us now, as he does each and every Tuesday with, Okay, we don't have JC just yet. All right, Dave, make that happen, please. All right, we'll get to JC in just a second. I know he's got a lot going on, big professional move for him that we'll let him explain here in just a few minutes. A couple of y'all weighing in, Eric and Blythewood, saying, do I think, he says, given the destination for the players that left South Carolina, maybe suggest that their exit was not their choice. And yeah, I do believe that. And look, that's the world of college basketball. That's the world of college sports these days. And, you know, this is the one time that maybe the coaches do have a little bit of leverage, I guess. But at the end of the day, no, like I don't think that. I think some players look. The difference in being a high major player and the amenities that you have now. You know, even at South Carolina, the amenities are better than say going to a Bowling Green or going to a Longwood. I can't really speak for Temple. They did have a nice basketball tradition back in the day with John Chaney, but I can't speak to that one. St. Louis, they've always been kind of a basketball school, so I know they invest in it. They've just never been a big-time power program. Then, obviously, you look at Charleston, which I think Charleston has some nice facilities. I don't think they're great. Are they a step down from South Carolina? Yeah, but very, very small. I love that. I love the home court. I love the facility down there that Charleston plays in. And so we'll see how Eli Ellis does, and then of course again E.J. Walker going to Western Kentucky, where again they have a nice tradition, obviously, but in terms of facilities, I would still say South Carolina. I think South Carolina could definitely upgrade, and if you were comparing South Carolina's facilities to that of the rest of the SEC, we're talking 14th, 15th, 16th. But what you're really getting out of it is a program that would still be better than most high majors, and even when you get into some of the finer things that players get to enjoy, such as the diet, such as the amenities of the weight room or 650 Lincoln Street, you're getting into a little bit better situation there. And even if you're not playing, you might want to enjoy that and enjoy being at a big university like the University of South Carolina. We'll continue to work to get J.C. Sherbert up and running with us here in just a second. A couple other things taking place with this basketball program. I mentioned it. Lamont Paris saying in an interview that he's got two foreign players who I don't know, and it's bad news for me, given that I'll have to be the one trying to pronounce their name throughout basketball season, not like Derek Scott and Casey Manning, but obviously here on the radio, so not exactly great news for me. But that will add them what we expect to be two post players internationally. And you've seen other schools going about and doing this, and, you know, we talked about things changing and evolving. One thing that has always been a consistent for NCAA basketball is to go overseas, and you think about South Carolina through the years when you think about Mindaugas, Kaichenis, Lamonas, Akevicius, you can go all the way back to Marius Petrovicius. See, I've got those names down. But you've had a lot of guys come from overseas that have been solid players here. And we'll kind of see how it plays out for Lamont this year by bringing in some guys who, technically speaking, are playing professional basketball over there, even at 17, 18, whatever age they may be. They're playing professionally in professional leagues in Europe. Now, it's not like the G League or not like the NBA, but they are still considered professional over there, kind of like on club teams, kind of like you would see in soccer more so, and playing at a lower level with their club team, trying to work their way up to the true professional team. We'll see who comes about and who becomes part of South Carolina's roster in that form or fashion. So I'm interested. And I'll go back, and I know Steven hit us up on the text account 803-404-6100 and said, you're not going to make any headway talking to fans about showing up in November. But that is why I say you schedule a big game, a relatively big game, for the first game of the season and make it a new name. That's why you're going to have Clemson on the schedule. That's going to be a given. And I believe this year it's back here at Colonial Life Arena, if I'm thinking correctly. But you put that one on the schedule. Actually, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. So actually, it's 3, 5. It is back here, 1, 3, and 5 for Lamont Parish. Year 1, year 3, and year 5. But you got Clemson on the schedule. You've got the trip out to the West Coast for the multi-team tournament, and then I say go ahead and get one more marquee name that people would tune in for. They're going to pay attention. They're like, oh, okay, you're not playing Longwood or North Florida or Albany or South Carolina State, no offense to the Bulldogs. You're playing a big-name team. Let me go see this particular game and see what they look like. And then if you win, you've garnered a little bit of interest. If you go out and you beat a North Florida or you beat a Longwood or you beat, USC Upstate, everybody's just going to yawn and be like, yeah, well, you did this last year. So it's just it's a thought. It's an opinion. It doesn't have to be shared by anybody else. It's what I would try to do is to get one of those teams on the schedule for the early part of the season to see if I can build a little momentum so that Colonial Life Arena is not, and it still may be, but is not a ghost town from basically November through December and on into conference play. And again, you can lose that game and then lose, or you could win that game and lose 4 more, again, to USC Upstate or Presbyterian, or you get the point, teams of that ilk, and lose everybody's attention. But I think if you win that first game and you do it against a Maryland, if you do it against, even a Georgetown with Ed Cooley, I think people kind of take a little bit more notice. That's just my personal opinion. 803-404-6100. We'll come back, make an effort for J.C. Sherbert. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
Columbia, make this spring the time you stop painting year after year and do what Greg did. He called Rhino Shield.
We live in a beautiful 2-story home that was built in 1916. Really been prepped and painted very, very poorly.
And Rhino Shield? It's not paint, it's better.
We really had a lot of detail work in the team at Rhino Shield. They spent really a full 4 days just on the prep work, and we were so excited to see that.
Stop painting year after year and get Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
We've gotten numerous compliments, and we've actually even had some of the longer-term residents of our community thank us for protecting the integrity of our home.
Here's owner Dan Hoey.
This offer is limited, so call today at 833-RHINO-99 or visit RhinoShieldCarolina.com. Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Spring cleaning starts with Zero-Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Mention 107.5 The Game, get 3 rooms cleaned for $109 plus a free hallway. No one cleans like Zero-Res. No soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just carpets that stay cleaner longer. Take $100 off air duct cleaning for a limited time. Air ducts circulate the air you breathe, and dust can end up right back on your floors, so don't wait. May appointments are filling up very fast. Visit ZeroResColumbia.com to book today.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Do you have gold you don't need? Are you looking to get cash? At Tradition's Fine Jewelers, it only takes a few minutes for them to check, but you'll be amazed at what cash it brings. Did you know if you had gold the size and weight of a quarter, you would generate $177 in 10 karat or $248 in 14 karat? Want to trade your gold? The same quarter gold would generate $303 in 10 karat or $425 in 14 karat. Tradition's Fine Jewelers, Sunset Boulevard in Lexington, or at the Village at Sandhills. Always giving you more for your gold.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill, I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses, or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000. Use code TRACK to borrow up to $10,000.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter and Tyler Head. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Just past 2:30. No luck tracking down J.C. Sherbert just yet. So we'll move on from there, get back into some basketball. Got some Lamont Paris audio kind of discussing some of the things that I have been talking about and we'll play for coming up in this segment. But let's get back out to the phone lines. Tim wants to weigh in this afternoon on the basketball situation. Tim, how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good. It's LSU, Tim. I didn't get the LSU part, but I do have a question, which I'm kind of confused on, because I called in about this. You want to play somebody, a pretty good basketball team, first game, right? Am I clear on that?
Yeah, that's what I think they need to do. It would be beneficial, and there's no real risk in it.
Okay, and that's why I get so mad when you drop my football thing. I mean, there was no downside to that game.
You cut out. Which game?
The Miami game, when you drop Miami to kick off the football season.
They're two totally, Tim, they're two totally different situations.
How?
Well, in basketball, how many games do you think you can lose to be eliminated from college basketball NCAA tournament contention? What do you think? 10? You can lose 12, 13? Auburn this year was what, 15-14 and on the bubble.
Okay.
So that's a massive difference right there.
No, I don't think it is, because if you're going to sit there and play that conference schedule in football, and your 2 out-of-conference games are, just say, Miami and Clemson, I don't think there's another college football program that will play that. You're going to get a lot of benefit of that. You could probably lose 3 to 4 and maybe make it.
Exactly, maybe. But South Carolina's not in the position. I don't. But here's the thing. Everybody is dropping these games. Everybody's dropping them. Alabama got out of one. Georgia's gotten out of a couple. I mean, everybody that's playing. Go ahead, finish up. You're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the mountains.
Oh.
LSU's not. Clemson's not. I mean, there's schools that will sit there and man up to do it. Y'all need to. You need to get on that, man.
No, you're wrong on this.
I'm depending on you.
This is. I'm worried about you now. I'm worried about you. I love you.
Oh man, there's no way.
I love you.
All right, man. Hey, wait, one more thing.
Go ahead, quickly.
And this is on a side note. South Carolina needs to have a Gamecock Larry Day in one sporting event. I know it won't be football, but they need to do it.
Now that I'll investigate. We'll get into that. I appreciate that, buddy. Enjoy the mountains. LSU Tim there. There's different, and the two scenarios to which Tim mentions are totally different. In basketball, look, and number one, y'all know going into basketball season, it really doesn't matter what Lamont Paris does. Nobody's going to be fired up. Nobody's going to be fired up for the 2026-2027 basketball team. I mean, no offense to Lamont Paris, but that's just where this program is after 2 of the worst years that took place. He's going to have to earn it. And I have no doubt that if he comes out and wins several games, including a few marquee games, you knock off Clemson, if you do that, people will start to take notice. And if you win a few conference games at the beginning of January, by the end of January, that arena will be filled out. I've watched it happen a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've watched it happen over the last 35 years. I saw Darren Horn start year one where nobody cared or was interested, and then he was off to a great start, and they're packing the place out at the end of January and February. So the fans will go out if you win. But you've got to give them something to come out for. And when you have back-to-back seasons in the manner that they did, if you want that place with any kind of home environment in November and December, you got to make a statement right off the bat. Now, again, don't go out scheduling. You're not going to get Duke or North Carolina, but don't go getting Michigan State or Kansas or Connecticut or Arizona or whatever. Now we're talking about you're in over your head. Go get somebody who last year is a brand name team that struggled a little bit. Maryland's a great example of that. Florida State's a great example of that. Go get one of those two. You can say, hey, we're playing a Big Ten team or an ACC team. Come on out to the arena tonight. Let's see what we got. And if you win, people go, that's interesting. I'll at least check out the next game. I'll be invested in game number 2. And then hopefully then you're playing one of the lesser teams and you win that and you move on. 803-404-6100. Let's go back to the phone lines. I apologize, Dave. Who did you say was up now? John. Hey, John, go ahead. What's on your mind?
What's up, Wild Bill?
Hey, man, how you doing?
A couple of things. Doing good, great, man.
Good.
A couple of things. I want to make 2 quick points, and something that you talked about earlier, but the guy that just called in, you're exactly right. They're 2 billion miles apart, man. To get rid of that Miami game, knowing you got a 9-game schedule, is the only sane thing to do. Everybody's doing it. There's no upside to it unless you win the game. But the flip side of that is very simply this, is the fact that at the end of the day, you got to do what's best, and that is protect yourself. And in basketball, if you want to get people there, you certainly need to be able to draw people. I love that. I never even thought of it, but that analogy you made was a great point. And the second thing, are you there, Bill?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Go ahead. You're doing great.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought I meant
taking all the pressure off me. I love it.
The second thing I wanted to clear up real quick, something you talked about earlier in the program, and I'll never forget this. We're down at Fripp Island. This has been many years ago, and Coach Spurrier got hired, and he was talking to us about coming to Carolina. And what actually happened is Bernie Meechan, or whatever his name was the president at Florida, and he had moved from Utah over to Florida, and Jeremy Foley was the AD. Well, when he knew Spurrier was available, he called Coach Spurrier, according to Spurrier, out of his mouth, and he said, hey, listen, he said, we want you to come back. You're the guy. We'll send a plane. They go to set everything up, and Spurrier was pretty psyched. Hangs up, calls him back that afternoon and said, hey, he said, listen, he said, I talked to the president, called to set everything up, and he said he'll kind of meet you and talk to you and kind of go through an interview process, just kind of the way he does things. And that's when Spurrier was like, are you even kidding me? An interview, and then the trophy case you talked about and all. But he was ticked, and I'll never forget it. And who knows, because he had a few beers at the time. But the bottom line is he goes through and he's telling the story and kind of ends it. He said, you know, he was talking to Jerry and said, you know, South Carolina's available. And people were talking about possibly another school. It wasn't LSU, but I just know that he said, I want to go to the SEC, and I hope I can go to the East. Because I definitely want to have that opportunity. And then for him to beat Florida was the icing on the cake, and then going down there and winning the East. But, yeah, it was crazy that guy, of course, wanted to bring Urban in because he had been out at Utah. But just wanted to clear that up because I thought that was a great story that Jeremy Foley was the good guy. And I mean, but can you imagine having to call Spurrier back and say, oh, by the way, they want you to interview?
That in and of itself would be a 30-minute documentary worthy how that phone call goes.
It's unbelievable to me. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in. By the way, glad to see you doing better, loving your cupcakes and sprinkles or what, donuts and sprinkles, and just glad that you're doing better, man. You're a good dude.
Appreciate it, John.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, man. Take care. Good to hear from you. 803-404-6100. Let's hear a little bit from Lamont Paris. A lot of things that we've been discussing. He talked about last Thursday at the Garnet and Black Tour. Here's what he had to say in terms of they being close to being done adding from the portal. Here's what he said.
It's without divulging too much. I mean, we're very close to just being done with the vast majority of the pieces that we would predict will be key cogs in what we're doing. We're close to done with that. So some pieces will start to emerge and come to light here in the next minutes to a couple of days to, I don't know. I don't anticipate it. It might be a couple of weeks for one of them. There's this process has changed so much that there's so many things to take into account. I mean, with there's some international guys even that are still competing, and so those can't be announced until after they're done competing. There's so many. It's such a different landscape and so many things that I'll say we're close, very close to being done with the vast majority of the players that we anticipate making huge contributions next year. And so some of that stuff will come out again in the next minutes to weeks.
I have asked around about this, and I have gotten a couple other coaches outside of this state that have said, yes, there is now the process to get transfers into your program with some paperwork that the NCAA's got, and they kind of make fun of it because it's so easy to leave a school and to make your own decisions now. One coach told me it's kind of the opposite of getting married, where it's so easy to get married, but it's so hard to get divorced. And, you know, you hear Lamont saying that it's so easy for a kid to leave, to just up and decide to leave and tell a coach, I'm out of here. But to get them into campus, it requires a little bit more work. And you get kids who commit, and there's 2 or 3 days worth of paperwork that's got to be filtered through. And you got to get the credits up correctly. And does a kid qualify here? And most of them do. Most of them, the vast majority of them. The previous school has done good enough to keep them eligible, which, you know, how they got eligible is an entirely different, maybe a North Carolina type fake class type deal. I know nothing about that. But, you know, the truth be told, in those scenarios, most kids are eligible when they are making the transfer, and still the NCAA makes kids in schools jump through hoops, which has opened the door for some kids to be reevaluated or for somebody to get in their ear before they officially sign and sign their financial aid papers. So we'll see. And then you heard Lamont, Coach Parrish there, talking about the big guys overseas and some things that they have to deal with in terms of getting those guys not only qualified for college basketball, but also their visas for entering America. So a lot going on there. Let's also hear, I tell you what, Dave, real quick, a little bit more Lamont Parrish, because the other big question is, when will his staff be filled? He's still operating in a space in which he does not have his full staff filled out. Here is when Lamont thinks his staff will be filled out.
Good question. That's one of the next things in this chain of events, and so I thought we really spent some good time and energy and identifying Bob Donewald, who has proven to be a really, really good hire for us, just in terms of his connections in the recruiting world, and the timing of that was intentional, to get that done right before the portal happened. Our staff has worked incredibly hard over these last, again, it's what I imagine. I've never been on the floor at Wall Street during the stock market. I imagine that's what one day would look like, but that's what these last 3 weeks every day has looked like. When you look up and it's 8:45 p.m. It's like, all right, I guess we should probably leave now. And so, but Bob's been really, really, really good, really effective, and so now we'll move towards finishing out the staff.
We'll talk more about that, wrap up hour number 3 in the Tuesday program when we come back. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Hey, this is Jen from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, a bakery, a coffee shop, burger joint, or a pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? We got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The Knicks take Game 1. Last night's win had New York buzzing, and the Knicks become the first team in NBA history to win 3 straight games by at least 25 points. It's hard to tell whether the 76ers are tired from short rest after Game 7 in the first-round series against the Celtics, or if the Knicks are that good. Game 2 is Wednesday night. I'm Chris Black.
It's time to spring into deals at Lowe's. Freshen up your yard with Stay Green Premium 2 cubic foot mulch. 5 bags for $10. Then get what you need to keep clothes, food, and dishes fresh with up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on select laundry pairs. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
I checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hallmark Cards presents Mother's Day at Walgreens. Celebrate every mother figure in your life with a Hallmark card at Walgreens. Show how much she means to you and how deeply she's loved. A Hallmark card is the perfect way to say thank you for all she does. Don't forget, Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th. Visit Walgreens today to find the perfect Hallmark Mother's Day card and make her feel truly special. Mother's Day means Hallmark cards at Walgreens.
At Target, finding something for every kind of mom and every side of mom just got easier. Does she love fashion? Take 20% off select women's clothing and accessories and find a dress she'll love to wear. Is she into the outdoors? Freshen up her favorite spot with up to 40% off planters, pillows, and poofs. Or keep it classic. Fresh tulips for just $12 and a Dossier fragrance trio for $32. Whatever mom is into, we've got it. Celebrate mom her way, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Don't let the insurance companies intimidate you. We'll take them to court. We got a $2.4 million verdict for a client who was hurt in a car wreck. Good heavens, dial all sevens now.
To get your attorney, dial 800 all sevens now.
The Anastapula Law Firm has been recovering millions for their clients for over 30 years. Their South Carolina personal injury attorneys have experience fighting for the rights of their clients. Remember, don't scream, call Akeem. Dial 800 all sevens now.
Herb Glass is responsible for this ad, and cases are handled at 32 Ann Street, Charleston, South Carolina 29403. Paid endorsement, not actually client. Results may vary.
Need a roof? Trust Crescent Construction. With over 20,000 roofs installed and counting, they've got the experience you need. They specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, and general contracting. Visit CrescentCarolina.com today for free estimates and free inspections. That's right, no cost, no commitment. Crescent Construction, quality you can count on. For all your roofing and construction needs, visit CrescentCarolina.com now.
The Halftime Show with Bill Gunter, Tyler Head, and David Ayer on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
Wrapping up hour number 3. Reminder, I'll be out tomorrow. I think Scott Hamilton is filling in for us tomorrow and holding down the fort. I've got a doctor's appointment as we hopefully will have some answers by next Thursday. I'll do a lot of blood work tomorrow and hopefully, personally, little personal note, feeling a lot better, like physically feeling a lot better. Dialysis is taking a toll a little bit on my body. I'm down to about 135 pounds, which I probably haven't been 135 pounds since sometime around my senior year in high school, and trying to put on some shorts right now. None of them fit, so I got to go do a whole new wardrobe redo. But I'll do this appointment tomorrow and then go back for the results next Thursday, and we're praying and hoping that we have some good results and learn about it on the 14th, which again is next Thursday. So I'll be out tomorrow, and then we'll come back. Tyler and I'll be back on Thursday, and I think we'll get into this. I just saw this on Twitter, and I kind of was trying to listen to it in the break, and a lot was going on. I don't necessarily know when Dabo did this interview with Greg McElroy, but there is an interview here where Dabo is essentially saying that basically that Clemson has no money, and saying, hey, despite the fact that we don't have money like Notre Dame or several other schools, look at what we've done. Look at what we've accomplished. I think he said we're 3-1 against Ohio State. He talked about beating Alabama. He talked about having a 4-2 record against Notre Dame. I'd be interested. I know that Clemson fans aren't like, I think you still like Dabo, but I feel like that relationship is starting to sour a little bit. And I don't know what Clemson's going to be this year. And LSU Tim weighed in and said South Carolina. Well, truthfully, the South Carolina LSU schedules aren't all that different. South Carolina plays Clemson just like LSU plays Clemson. And then LSU's other two out-of-conference games aren't exactly very difficult. So South Carolina's got Clemson and two out-of-conference games that aren't very difficult. The LSU Tigers will play McNeese State and Louisiana Tech. And South Carolina plays Kent State and Towson. So to go back to your point, Tim, you're talking about it. Yeah, Clemson can play that game. Of course they're not giving it up. They're actually, I think, contractually bound by the SEC to play one other Power 4 team now. So they actually have to keep that game on their schedule. They can't back out of it. whereas South Carolina has got their allotment and their schedule down with the Clemson game plus the 9 other conference games. So, again, that's why I said also a lot different there when we talk about those scenarios. But we'll maybe get to this Dabo interview on Thursday. I need to listen to it a little bit closer. I'm kind of reading Brad Crawford. You can go to Beat Crawford 247, and he has tweeted out the video. He got about a 1-minute clip there, and it's Dabo talking about the Tigers right now. And basically, I'm not trying to make fun of him, but as Brad Crawford puts it, and I listened to it, and it is kind of what he's trying to say, that Dabo is used to punching above its weight class and having more wins despite lacking the resources that all the major teams have. And so basically it kind of comes across a little bit as a man right here who's trying to tell you, the Clemson fan, hey, I'm the one, because in this interview, I did catch it, he said basically we hadn't won a conference title in 17 years before I got here. And that was before they went to a 17-team conference. And I was able to do it with those, and they weren't able to get it done. It kind of comes across as like, look, you're lucky to have me here. If it wasn't for me, you guys would be nothing. This program would be nothing. You can go watch the interview, and we'll gear up for that on the Thursday. Greg McElroy also earlier this week talked a little bit about Lenora Sellers, and he was curious about Sellers' confidence in the offense. Let's play number 6 real quick, Captain Dave, and hear what Greg McElroy had to say about Lenora Sellers and Kendall Briles.
And if you listen to Shane Beamer, he is really pleased with the progress that's been made by Lenora Sellers. And he also really talked about how important it was for the relationship between Briles and Sellers to continue to be mended, to continue to be long, strong, and to have a really good understanding of how each other think. But here's what I'm curious about. I need to see Sellers in a tight game in September with the game on the line make that throw, not the improvised scramble. I want to see him standing there and throw, because that's kind of what disappeared at times in 2025. That willingness to just trust himself with the ball in his hands, stay in the structure of the offense. Kendall Briles has rebuilt that. If Sellers can come out those first couple weeks and play confident and free, it's a dangerous team. But if there's a little bit of hesitation in there and then the game starts to speed up for him, then it could be another up and down season offensively for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
We'll find out. I'm not, no offense to Shane Beamer or anybody over there or whatever, or any talking heads, me included, I'm not buying it. It's just simply going to be a show me season, and I want to see, look, I'm pulling for Lenora Sellers to bounce back and be that dude, and us to be all fired up and giggly and happy and running around here, bumping chest come November and getting close to the College Football Playoff and Heisman. But it's show me, baby. It's show me. I want to see it, and we all need to see it. When you got to live up to whatever standard that they're going to set. We'll find out. It's actually not as far away as you think. Enjoyed it. Out tomorrow, back on Thursday. Y'all have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the